What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 63. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the future class of video games, blessing Adeoye Jr.
Greg, I got good news.
Okay, it's a prop.
She lives.
Vita lives, everybody.
The
Don't
Vita
listen
lives.
to him. All right, everybody? They're
The
trying to
Vita
tell you
lives.
right now the Vita's dead. The Vita ain't dead.
PlayStation lied to you.
Get your Vita right now. Get it out.
I mean,
Get
I
it
love how
charged up.
your thing says Merc City 64 is online. Your
Because
notification
you are.
says
You're
that.
right there. I
That's
don't know. Why
fantastic.
don't you have your notifications
They're
turned
killing
on?
the
Oh, that's
store
awkward.
though, right? So I think
No,
it's
that they're
dead.
not.
No, they
It
lied.
can never. What means life can never die.
I mean,
The
what
Vita
never
means
lives
life. You
can
cannot
never
kill
live,
the Vita.
You know.
Listen, the Vita doesn't need a store to live. That's why we have the next few months to make sure that we can
Exactly,
all get our
and that's what we're going to do
software on
today,
there.
ladies and gentlemen. We're
Yeah.
going to build you the ultimate Vita library, so you're all set for when the store goes offline, because that's officially happening. We're going to talk about that and so much more, because this is PS I Love You XOXO. I ate a Cadbury chocolate egg right
no.
before this, and I got that chocolate phlegm going on there. That got me. It got me. I
Chocolate
won't lie to you.
phlegm.
Yeah,
It's
you
the
ever
best
have
kind.
that? You get
Oh,
some
yeah.
of that
Dude,
liquidy.
I legitimately Snowbikel Michael, who you know from twitch.tv/kind
Mm-hmm,
of funny games, he's been recommending to me the chocolate croissant from Starbucks
Oh,
as
yeah.
as a morning meal, because
Sure.
usually lately I've been going for just the regular croissant, the warmed buttered croissant in a nice iced coffee.
Sure.
And Snowbikel was like, dude, do the butter croissant, you know, that's all the rage.
Chocolate croissant.
Yeah, the chocolate croissant, thank you. And so I went there today, and I asked for my regular warm butter croissant because it's my go-to. You know, it's hard for me to change.
Of
But they
course.
said they're out of it.
Sure.
They were like, we have everything else, but sorry, we're out of the butter croissant. And so I was like, all right, I guess it's time. I guess I'm gonna do what Snowek Mike has been suggesting for about a month now, and I'll try out the chocolate croissant. And so I got it, got home, opened it up, took a bite, and I didn't realize how much chocolate was in the chocolate croissant.
geez.
In my head, it was chocolate chips. You know, I would get
Yeah,
chocolate
yeah,
here
yeah.
and there. It is filled with chocolate cream, and it is aggressive and excessive. There is a lot of chocolate in that.
Wait,
thing.
it's chocolate cream in the chocolate croissant there? It's not just like the rails of chocolate, like a normal chocolate croissant?
That's what I meant. Like it was basically like the rails of chocolate.
Okay,
like
okay.
melted chocolate, basically.
Because it's that thing of, I don't know if I've tried the Starbucks chocolate croissant by any stretch of the imagination, but I've had chocolate croissants before, of course.
You know
Yeah.
what they ran out of at my Starbucks, which was really upsetting this morning. Was
Coffee.
the pumpkin bread, which is like usually my
heartbreaker.
go-to. Oh, dude, like
Yeah,
the pumpkin
yeah.
bread with a nice mocha. Ooh, a combination made in heaven. But they are out of it today, so I got a blueberry.
What I
mocha.
got to ask, though, Bless, is have you had the bacon sausage and egg wrap, their breakfast burrito they have now, which is brand new?
No, is it brand new? I've
It's
not had
brand
that,
new.
no.
It's been only out a couple of weeks. I just sent Barrett a thing of it right here. I'll read it for you. Delicious double smoked bacon, savory sausage. That's right, bacon and sausage, and cage-free scrambled eggs combined with cheddar cheese and sous vide potatoes, all wrapped in a flour tortilla for a breakfast you're sure to love.
That sounds amazing because I used to be obsessed with the double smoked bacon cheddar and egg
Sure.
from Starbucks, and I ate it so inside baseball with me, right? Like I used to work at the Starbucks corporate building for my previous job.
Okay, sure.
And so like I used to work on the 8th floor of the building, or no, on the 9th floor of the building. And on the 8th floor, they had a Starbucks store where everybody working there would get discounts because they're all Starbucks employees. And so I'd go there pretty much at some points every day to every other day. It was pretty ridiculous. And I would get the double smoked bacon cheddar and egg
Sure.
because I loved it. It was savory goodness that I couldn't get enough of. And I hit the point probably about like a couple years in, where I was like, I can't keep eating this every day. Like I've hit the point now where I take a bite in and my body starts to reject it because it's had it so much. What you just explained, what you just described there sounds like the revitalization of that for
on
me. I might go and try that.
foodbeast.com, Starbucks quietly debuts breakfast burritos nationwide, and this was at
Oh
the
my
beginning of the
God.
month, March 9th. And that was my thing, is I looked at the app one day, I was going to get my usual egg bites. Usually do the bacon Gruyere cheese, and I was like, I'll do that. And then I saw this, and I was like, it's that thing where I don't want to say I love a good breakfast burrito, right? Because I find I'm burned so often. that I order a breakfast burrito. You get it. The potatoes inside are raw. They're too hard. The ratios are off. It just isn't good. And I go, oh, any breakfast burrito is great. That's not true. Any breakfast taco, great. Breakfast burritos, I think, are hard and oftentimes not great. This is the best breakfast burrito I've ever had.
Really?
I want you to know that every time
Really?
every time I order from a Starbucks for breakfast, there has to be a long conversation in my head of like, how badly have I eaten in the past few days? Can I justify doing this? Because if not, I'm going to go for those
That's
egg
high
bites. You know what I
praise.
mean?
Because I love breakfast burritos.
If I'm lying, I'm dying.
I love breakfast burritos, and I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to try the breakfast burrito when I get the chance at Starbucks. Because that is very high praise. I don't think you understand the levity of what you just said.
No, and it was that thing of maybe it was the first time, maybe I had it and I was like, oh, this is so good, it's new or something like that. I've had it 3 or 4 other times since then. Wow. And it just debuted at the beginning of the month apparently. So that's what you need to know about me and breakfast burritos. Right. And did I break my own rule many a times? Yes. I've even had a pizza and some burger. I'm like, I don't care. I'm getting this goddamn breakfast burrito. I've earned it, and it's delicious every time. God bless you, Starbucks, for your not like quality food in terms of like high quality food, but in terms of consistency. That's what I love. That if I can be in Germany, I can be in LA, I can be in San Francisco. I can go get my blonde roast cup of coffee. I can get a chocolate chip cookie. I can get the egg bites. I can get a breakfast burrito. And I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted. It tastes just the way I thought it should.
Over the weekend, I was watching this internet show on YouTube called Over Under, where they would ask guests to come on and just describe things that are either overrated or underrated, and they'll just give random topics. And so I think it was either the rapper Earl Sweatshirt or maybe it was Vince Staples, one of them, both rappers. They asked them, I believe they asked them about Starbucks, and the answer I would give for whether or not Starbucks is overrated or underrated, for me personally, I would just say they're rated. Like they're rightly rated. They're in the right place. I think we all appreciate Starbucks as much as we should appreciate Starbucks.
Here's where I'll go with you, all right? Mm-hmm. I think Starbucks has gone through the cycle, and yes, this is a PlayStation podcast. If you're joining us, we will talk about Vita eventually. It's gone through the cycle enough where it went from overrated to where it is now underrated. Where I think now people just they take it for granted. There's a Starbucks across the street from another Starbucks. Who the fuck cares? Yada, yada, yada. But when you break it down in terms of like the options of food, the quality of the food, it's good. But I think people would look at it and be like, oh, whatever, Starbucks, you don't think about it. I still get excited when I pop in for a treat. You know what I mean? My 3 p.m. coffee before I do a Kind of Funny podcast or something like that. Treat myself to a cookie. This breakfast burrito when I'm on the road to going somewhere in the morning. Come on now.
The coffee hits. That's the thing is I usually for breakfast I was going to McDonald's to get the iced coffee there, but it wasn't as consistent as Starbucks. Starbucks iced coffee has hit every single time the way that it's needed to hit in a way that McDonald's was not able to keep up with.
And that's the thing too is like I think for me it's a little nostalgia. You know what I mean? You might not think about it, but who started me on my Starbucks like doing it all the time? Nick Scarpino. And not even Kind of Funny Nick Scarpino. IGN.com Nick Scarpino. When we were doing San Diego Comic-Con, or no, we were doing E3, but we were doing the offsite up at noon stuff. And it was like, we'd go there and Nick was like, just get a nice coffee. And I did it. And I felt like I had the surge of energy and power through me that I've just never stopped drinking. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I feel like I've been on a roll of fairly good games dailies because of Starbucks coffee. I think that's the thing that's been doing it for me. It's been getting me woken up the way that I needed to be.
I won't lie to you. A lot of shows would tell you, the listener, you blessing, don't use performance enhancing drugs or aids. I go the opposite. If it's going to make you better at your job and make you a better host, fucking dope up. Get in there with it, Starbucks.
Yep, I'm doing it.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is P.S. I Love You, XOXO. No chocolate phlegm now. Each and every week, Blessing and I come together to nerd out about all things PlayStation, and you like that, so you go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Over there, you can give us your questions. You can give us your PSN profiles for perusing. You can answer all sorts of things we ask you. Of course, you can get the show ad-free. Of course, you can get the show with the exclusive post show we do each and every week, or every week. Of course, you could be part of it. You could be a Patreon producer. You could do everything else. This is my dog Portillo, and he wants down, so he's got to get on camera there to go down.
Oh my God, I love him.
Of course, that's all on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. However, if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. You can get each and every episode of PSI Love You XOXO brand new Tuesdays, 6 a.m., youtube.com/kindafunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe.
Yeah, where's the hammer?
It was tucked behind my water. My Thor hammer was tucked behind my water. I apologize, everybody. I'm off there. Some housekeeping for you. This Wednesday, after Kind of Funny Games Daily, I'm streaming money for the American Heart Association. You can tune in to the normal Wednesday stream, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, 11 a.m. for me and Snow Bicycle Michael, playing some of that there Outriders. You can donate at kindoffunny.com/AHA. We're trying to raise as much money as we can for them in that one day, that one time period. So come on over there. Blessing, It's been a quiet week. And now it should be an exciting week. The Blessing Show is back this Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Every other week. This is the Blessing Show week. So you're getting Blessing Show this Thursday.
Can we get a tease of what we'll see on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames come Thursday?
Oh man, I'm very excited for this episode because I think a lot of people in our community, as of recent, and I know like for a while now, y'all have been there, but especially recently, have been interested in Souls games. And this Blessing Show this week is all about Souls games. I'm going through the different Souls games. I'm going through the different From Software games, what makes them great. Talking about why we're hyped for Elden Ring, and I might be bringing in some guests for interviews. Are those guests Tamor from GameSpot and Imran Khan from Fanbyte?
Probably.
You'll have to tune in to see.
Well, okay. Well,
yeah, you'll have to tune in to see.
You can find out Thursday, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames for a new episode of The Blessing Show. Remember, this is one of our few YouTube-only products, so it would mean a lot to us if you went over there and watched Blessing's video series. It's video essays, and it's great. We love it. There's a whole bunch up there, and it's all because of your support in January on Patreon, so thank you. Ratchet and Clank is the book club for this month, as you know. As you also know, we give you the entire month to play through your game for the book club. So next week will be our in-depth review of Ratchet and Clank 2016 on the PlayStation 4. You're probably playing it backwards compatibility. This is your last-minute warning. Hey, this is happening. It's also your last-minute warning of, hey, you can download Ratchet and Clank for free. Remember, at the end of this month, on the 31st, at April 1st at midnight, it all goes away. So get in there for the Play at Home collection. Download Ratchet and Clank 2016. Play some of it so you can have something to say next week when we get to the book club. But, Blessing, we asked weeks ago. We keep talking about the book club. We need a better name for the book club. We asked people to write in. I have 3 for you to pick from. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Jack Martin says, #PS we played this. He says in parentheses, good game to whoever suggested PS I played this, because I think that was one that came up on the show organically from the chat or maybe from a question at the time. This seems more communal and looks better as a Twitter hashtag. So he's not taking credit for coming out with PS we played this, but he is taking credit for putting it together and putting a hashtag in front of it. Then Lucid Dream said squared circle, a wrestling reference, of course.
What's the reference? I didn't get that one.
Well, in like high school, like in actual wrestling, like, you know, not pro wrestling, actual wrestling, like Olympic wrestling, you fight in that circle. But then when WWE started calling their ring the squared circle because it's a square instead of the circle, and then here it would be the squared circle because of the sacred symbols. Yeah. And then Jordan Lee Rowan said PSN tree, like entry of the month, PSN tree of the month.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of PSN tree. I see what you're going with there.
Yeah, it's a cute one to look at and read. But to say out loud, no.
PS entry doesn't sound. Squared circle, I do like, but I don't.
But does it speak to us playing a game? You know, as a community.
That doesn't necessarily feel like you don't get what that is. You know, when I say it out loud, I had to explain what that is. PS we played this. I feel like it's straightforward. I feel like it goes with the theme of the show.
Yep.
I say we go with it. I think that one works best.
The motion carries. Jack Martin, who didn't take credit for it, but put the hashtag on. Do we like it with the hashtag or without the hashtag? Are we hashtagging it that often? I don't think we're hashtagging it that often.
Yeah, I mean, we could. I mean, maybe if we want people to give their impressions, we ask for the hashtag PS we played it on Twitter.
Yeah. No, you still go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to be part of the show. All right.
It might be good for like social engagement, though. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing I'll say though. PS we played this. That is 4 words. If we count PS as 1 word, I feel like that does get kind of lengthy. Whereas the hashtag condenses it to make it look good.
Okay.
So I can go either way, honestly.
Well, if you're gonna tweet about it, use the hashtag PS we played this. And if you're gonna listen to me talk about it, I'll probably just call it the PS we played.
Yeah, and honestly, like people can talk about it amongst themselves on Twitter too. You know, like there's nothing stopping people from tweeting about the games that we're playing for this. And so like if somebody's playing Ratchet and Clank and they're like, I don't want to write in, but I want to get my feelings out there and I'm playing it as part of this thing. Hashtag PS we played it. That way people can go to that hashtag and read.
And whenever I tweet about it for like social promo, it'll look nice for tweets and stuff. You know. Remember
this one's that's great. The motion carries there as well. It's hashtag PS we played this. Remember, next week we wrap up March's hashtag PS we played this with Ratchet and Clank, so be ready for that.
You finished yet?
However, no, I haven't finished it yet. I'm chipping away at it. You know what I mean?
Are you chipping away? Okay.
Yeah, save at it. We'll save all this for conversation because there's a whole bunch of stuff coming up in this show, let alone what we'll talk about next week and where we are and stuff. What are you? Are you trying to beat it?
No.
It's only 10 hours, right? But that's the thing too, is like it's 10 hours, but there's other things to play, so it's this weird thing.
There's a lot of other things to play. Yeah, we'll talk about it in games this week. But Disco Elysium Final Cut, I'm itching for it. I cannot wait for whenever, or I guess for when that comes out, which is in a couple of days.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, but I was gonna say, if we want to actually drive it, of course, this, one of my favorite moments ever was a podcast Beyond where we all held up our Vitas in the chat, or in the group, the chat. Jesus, I've been on the stream for a year, not in a meet and greet scenario. Everybody needs to tweet this episode with the hashtag Vita Lives in a photo of their Vita. All right, that's fun. We all held up our Vitas at the front. We're talking about the top 15 Vita games or whatever here. We need you to put out there Vita Lives with your photo of your Vita. Okay, got it. Cool.
Yep,
you can also be like our Patreon producers at DeNanobiologist, aka Mick Abramson, Tyler Ross, Joy, aka Joseph O. Youssef, Trent Barry, Mizuyuki, Man Bear Paradox, Julian the Gluten-Free Gamer, Alex J. Sandoval, Central West Gaming, James Hastings, Elliot, and Casey Kern. Today we're brought to you by Fitbod, HelloFresh, and Gabby. But for now, let's start with topic of the show. Blessing, are you ready to decide the 15 must-play PlayStation Vita games?
Absolutely not.
Too bad. You're in for the penny, you're in for the pound. Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about it last week. Of course, there was a rumor then that the PlayStation stores on PS3, PS Vita, and, of course, PSP were going to be shut down, and you'd no longer be able to buy new games from them. This caused panic, of course, about the digital market spaces, what you own, what you shouldn't own. And then today, as we record this on Monday, March 29th, PlayStation did confirm it. I will read from their support site that says, discontinued PlayStation apps, features, and services. PS3, PS Vita, and PSP PlayStation Store closure. We are closing PlayStation Store on PlayStation 3 consoles on July 2nd, 2021, and PlayStation Vita devices August 27th, 2021. Additionally, the remaining purchase functionality for PSP will also retire on July 2nd, 2021. What features can I use after the closure of the PlayStation Store and purchase functionality on PS3, Vita, and PSP? PlayStation says, features you will still be able to access. You will still be able to re-download and play previously purchased game titles. You will still be able to access previously purchased video and media content. You will still be able to redeem game and PlayStation Plus vouchers. You will still be able to re-download and play claimed game titles through PlayStation Plus as long as you remain a member of the service. Features you will lose access to. You will no longer be able to purchase PS3, Vita, and PSP digital content, including games and video content. You will no longer be able to make in-game purchases through games on PS3, PS Vita, and PSP. You will no longer be able to redeem PSN Wallet Fund vouchers on PS3, Vita, or PSP devices once the PlayStation Store and purchase functionality on these devices close. There's a lot more going on over there, right? Of course, one of the questions I would put out here is like, how do I access my own games? You can download your own content on your PS3, Vita, or PSP device by accessing the download list on the respective device. Obviously, maybe before you would have gone to the store, search for the game, download it there. Download list is on your system settings you can get into and get all your stuff there. But, blessing, the rumor has been substantiated. The stores are going away. You and I talked this to death last week, obviously, on PS I Love You. Do you have anything new to add to that conversation?
Not really. Just mainly that I'm the more I've had this new sit over the last week, the more I've been bummed out on the side of the PlayStation Vita store specifically, because the Vita isn't that old, especially compared to the PSP, and then also compared to the PS3. Like on a
10 years old this December in Japan, 10 years old February 2022 in America.
Yeah, and like on a level, like I get shutting down the stores for the PS3 and PSP just for how old they are, and from a business standpoint, like I guess that makes sense for PlayStation. But from the Vita standpoint, Scourgebringer was announced for PlayStation Vita, and that's a game that's about to come out in I think a few weeks. And like I think there's still novelty there for developers to be able to put out their games digitally on Vita still. You know, like it's not as active as it's been in the past, but you see that here and there, and I think that of itself is an exciting thing. And so for that to not be an option anymore, I think is a big bummer, just because the Vita still means a lot to a certain amount of people, right? Like we're those people, but still, it bums me out because it's not that old yet. Like it shouldn't.
April
it shouldn't go away
22nd for
yet.
Scourgebringer is what I'm finding on the internet right now for you.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, it is totally a bummy thing of like, you know, like, and it's the reality of what we've talked about, and you know, to go back and forth on all these different things. It's what we knew would happen when you start moving to digital marketplaces, that of course, yes, these stores could go away and that things would change. You know, it is a disappointment. You know, there's questions. One came in today that I don't think actually made the doc, because we're talking about this 15 list of 15. I'll get to that in a second, actually. But talking about the Vita games you need to have, and one of them was like Jiminy Jillikers. I was a kid when the Vita came out. I didn't have any money, but now I do. Is it worth buying a Vita for? And I'd be like, yeah, of course. There's a huge library of Vita games to play. Now, of course, are they games that speak to you? You look into that, do that kind of thing, see if that's where you want to go with it. But I would say, yeah, of course. And it sucks that like there's now a countdown clock on that ability to pick up a Vita from
Oh my God, yeah.
or the eBay or whatever, right? And then jump on and play the games we've talked about before. And that's where we go to John BX32.
Oh, not this guy.
Sympathizer.
No,
Sympathizer.
please.
This isn't
Not
the
this guy.
John. This isn't the John BX32. This is
Okay.
John BX32 Sympathizer, who writes in and says, with the closure of our beloved PS3 and Vita stores, I would like to jump into the store and buy some great Vita games before the store shuts down. But I have no idea where to start. As a person who never really played any Vita games by using it as anything more than a PlayStation, or a Persona 4 Golden machine, it would be helpful if you could both come up with a list of the best Vita experiences that people should not miss out on. Could you please come up with a list of maybe 15 or so PS Vita games that totally should be added to your library before the digital store is lost forever? Hashtag Starfield 2021. That is not a real hashtag we're starting. We will not have that.
I do love the idea of John BX32 like having disciples and people that like rise from his ashes.
Don't give him power, Bless. You're gonna regret
took
this.
him out.
If you've gotten to this part of the episode, please tweet at Greg Miller Starfield #Starfield.
No, that's a bad use. That's a bad use.
I just want to see like fan art. I want to see John BX32 fan art of John BX32 being like this priest in a robe or whatever, preaching the gospel of Starfield 2021, and then his disciples behind him, all in white robes, supporting that same gospel.
So a fascinating question, and I like the idea of 15. Now, just because it's a goofy number to pick, why not 10? Why not 5? Let's do 15. All right, cool. I'm with you, John BX32 Sympathizer. And the way I figured we'd do it, Bless, is that I get 5, you get 5,
Okay,
and the chat gets 5.
cool. Is John BX32 in chat?
Well, again, this would be the Sympathizer. This is who we're worried about.
But
I have not seen
one in chat because I don't want to hear.
I have
from
not
that
seen
man.
the prophet known as John BX32 live in the chat this week, so
Okay.
I don't see
Then-
him going there.
Then I think it's cool. Then we let chat have a voice.
And so what'll happen is I figure we go Greg Bless chat, and when we get to chat, I'll look over to chat and I'll see what's in there, and I'll give you a straw poll, and you can all vote on the ones that you've been shouting out there. So that's how we'll do it, and you can help this all go right. Of course, what I appreciate about John BX32 Sympathizer's question is that it is in fact 15 must-play PlayStation Vita games. Not 15 must-play exclusives, not 15 must-play digital only, he's saying that, but I think the way I'm interpreting this question, and Blessing, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Chat, I want to make sure we're on the same page. Of course, you can watch live, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames for future reference, everybody. Is the idea here is we're saying these are the 15 games you would put on a PlayStation Vita and then be like, it's okay to cut it off from the rest of the world.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So I don't think we need to I don't want to get into the minutia. I personally, from my list, I did not eliminate things that I can get on another platform. The idea for me is like, here's a Vita. Here, I think are the best experiences on the Vita, which include a whole bunch of different things that, yes, since then they've come to iOS. It's weird because he talks about Persona 4 already being a Persona 4 machine. Clearly, that's on our list. I think that's just the 16th game, right? Like, we don't even need to say that. Like, Persona 4 Golden is the one we'd tell everybody to get when you get a Vita. So we're putting that.
Well, I assume that's what you're going to lead off with for your number one.
Well, I would, but John B. I mean, we can, and I'm down for that. Yeah, I guess having 15 games makes. Then fine, we're putting that there. Persona 4 Golden is the first game on the list. Obviously, it's put by me, but John BX32 Sympathizer already put it there as well, right? So the idea here is Persona 4 Golden. what a JRPG. Again, in the same way Barrett's talked recently about Persona 5 grabbing him in a way that JRPGs usually don't grab him, that was me with Persona 4 Golden. I had played Persona 3 at IGN I reviewed it on PSP, and I had done it on PS2 at the time too. And I enjoyed it and I had fun with it, but I wasn't like enraptured with it. Whereas when Persona 4 Golden came to the Vita, it was just such a perfect pairing of, a great battle system, a great story, but the ability to take it anywhere you wanted with you and have it on planes and have it on train rides and have it just chilling out of your house while you watch something. It could be the center of your attention, or it could just be something you grinded in the background on. And there's a reason it's so beloved, right? It's an amazing cast of characters. It looks so good. Of course, Persona 4 Golden is a Persona 4 from PS2 special edition kind of thing. And it fleshed out the story more from that and did so many amazing things with it. It goes here, and it speaks to what I'm talking about, right? Of like, Persona 4 Golden, we're putting on this list of, the one Vita collection to rule them all.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't, you could get it, you won't be able to buy it on the PSN store anymore, but you could buy it physical. Yes, you could play it on Steam right now. There are other options now, but this is the idea that we're all on the same page. The ultimate Vita collection you would hand somebody, when your Vita is cut off from the internet for the rest of its life, this is what you'd want to go with.
I think for so many people, Persona 4 Golden was the Vita was the Persona 4 Golden machine. Like I'm kind of right there with John BX32, where I bought a Vita, I played Persona 4 Golden, and I felt like my purchase was justified after playing that one game. I was like, sweet, I feel good about the money I just spent on this thing, no matter what else I play on it, because for me, it was that powerful of a game. Like, it is one of my top 5 games of all time, and for that exact same thing, and for the reason of being able to play it on the bus on my way to work every single day. Like, I played it right when I moved to Seattle after college. And it was, I think I mentioned this story on the podcast before, that I was new to the city. I didn't know anybody. I had gotten Persona 4 Golden, and it was this fun analog to real life in a way for me, because the character you're playing as in Persona 4 is new to the city, and you're meeting these people for the first time and building these relationships. And for me, starting a new job in Seattle, I was taking the bus to work every day, and it was like an hour-long bus ride to and from work. And Persona 4
real.
Golden,
this is too real.
Yeah, it's too real. And Persona 4 Golden
was a lot of fog.
There was a lot of fog in Seattle.
Yeah,
honestly. I mean, honestly. But yeah, like, I would play that game every single day on the bus, and that game would get me through those trips. And the story and the music and the atmosphere and the vibe of Persona 4 Golden, I think, really make that game. And so yeah, no, that's easily my number one Vita game. And
I think it would be on everybody's, and it's definitely, you're talking about bang for your buck too, in terms of how many hundreds of hours you can put into it. There's how 100 plus hours you can put into it.
Yeah.
Again, if you're cutting off your Vita from it, I think there's that, and then there would be the reason to go back and replay it if you really get crazy about it, right, and want to have a romance somebody different, or go through and have that different experience from it and see how things will play out that way.
Have a different job.
Yeah, but I think that, Persona 4 Golden is the game that defines the Vita, and will always define the Vita, I think, in terms of what it is and what it'll always be.
I agree.
So now, Blessing, in the chat, one of the things people were shouting out, of course, Arc Wing says, so PSP games and PS1 classics are included? My personal, I have a list of Greg's 16 different games over here that I put onto this list. None of them are PSP or PS1 classics. Chat, when it comes to you, if I should look over there and you shot it out, and those are the 4 ones we put in, I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold it against you. Do whatever you want there. But also, okay, sorry.
I did play PS, and here's the thing: the PSP store is also going down.
Yeah,
and so I think with that context, I think it's fine. I think that makes sense. I'm gonna allow it, because even
that changes my thing then. Okay,
I look at my Vita library, and like, I mean, I played Castlevania Symphony of the Night on Vita, right? And like, there was Peace Walker. I think I played for the first time on Vita. Yeah, like I would include it, because I think a lot of those experiences,
you just changed it. That's a big change. But
a lot of those experiences, I think, were core for people on Vita. Especially if you missed the PSP.
Sure, of course. Yeah, okay. I like where your head's at. I like the switch up. Chat, one of the things I will remind you, of course, we all get 5 picks, and that includes you. So when it comes to you, perhaps, play some chess here. You know what Blessing and I talk about all the time when it comes from the Vita. Do you want to gamble away one of your spots? Now, does everything change for you, though? What's going to happen for me? Who knows? Blessing, what's your first pick?
Severed. Easily.
Oof, yeah,
easily.
Great pick.
Easily. Like, if we're talking about Vita games that define that platform, I think Severed is one that, I don't know if Severed was as popular, but I think it was core to the Vita, especially when it was coming out and being this thing that was touchscreen only game for the most part. But a game from Drinkbox, it was their follow-up from Guacamelee, and it felt like such a unique, cool, well-realized game from both the gameplay perspective and the art direction perspective. Like, their art direction very much was that Guacamelee cartoon style, and I think that shone through a lot in Severed, especially when you're going through the dungeons and fighting against these different tentacle creatures and all this shit. Like, I remember the game being just a very cool game to look at, but then also the gameplay was really unique and fun in the way that they made combat work using the slash in the touchscreen and timing all of your attacks against these different enemies that were on different sides of you and having to turn and manage each thing at the same time. What a fantastic game that I think is definitely a must-play Vita game.
100%. And I think, you talk about it. I think Severed didn't get the love it deserved because I think it came so late in the life cycle where people had already kind of moved on or were ready to move on from the Vita. And granted, that's a tough thing to say because, of course, PlayStation faithful, PlayStation audiences, of course, Severed. You played Severed, I hope. Of course, you want to talk about Drinkbox coming from the PlayStation Pub Fund, right? Like, that's how they got their start in terms of making Tales from Space, About a Blob, and then Tales from Space, Mutant Blob's Attack, right? And then moving into Guacamelee, then moving into Severed. Like, doing so much great shit on that PlayStation platform I'll never forget. Like, we always joke around about it of like, they were the ones who, during my demo, let me see PlayStation trophies for the first time on a Vita, where I got to go in the back and I was like, do you mind? I'm like, no, we don't care. And so, like, Severed is such an amazing experience that I think doesn't get the love it deserves. And that would definitely be at the top of my list for things people need to get on this thing, let alone the fact that if you totally missed it and don't have a Vita, it is on iOS now. You can get it a bunch of different places. How much does it hurt, Blessing, to sit here and talk about Drinkbox, getting their start with the PlayStation Pub Fund, right? To sit here and see them on this goddamn ID at Xbox.
Dude, I feel that. When like
fucking eating a hole in my gut, Drinkbox. Where you at, Graham?
I was like, good for you. Like, I'm sure that's gonna be big for you guys. You guys are gonna probably get a deal off of that and make money off of that. And I'm very happy for that. But I was like, damn, like another one.
And that game is so fucking good. If you haven't seen it, Nobody Saves the World. There's a preview up on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, and it's also embedded in the Kind of Funny Xcast, but an action RPG that is day and date Xbox Game Pass. And I hope that it comes to PlayStation at some point. Who knows how long the exclusivity windows are on that stuff, but who knows? Now, as I said, chat, it's time for your first pick. Chat. I'm going to say chat first pick. I'm looking over at the chat in 3, 2, 1. What am I looking here? Start shouting them out for me, all right? Okay, we got Ryan with Papers, Please. I like that. We'll put that on there for you. If I double back a little bit, because you were chatting beforehand, we have to wait for the chat. Virtue's Last Reward from JT Savage. Okay. Trails of the Sky. We've heard a lot about that, obviously. Mm-hmm. You started it, right? When we talked about
Trails of... Hold on, let me look it up real quick, because I might have. A lot of like, hold on, Trails of the Sky.
Yeah.
Why don't I see it pop up?
Wait, wasn't it Trials of Cold Steel?
Oh, wait, you're talking about Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel.
I'm just going from what they said in the chat. Is that the one or not? I don't know.
Wait, what did they call it?
Trails of the Sky.
Of the Sky. Hold on. Trails of the Sky Vita. I don't see anything that is Trails.
Yeah, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky.
Oh, Trails in the Sky. Gotcha. That's part of the same.
That's the fuck up.
Yeah, that's part of the same series as it's a Legend of Heroes game, and so it's in that same series of Trails of Cold Steel. But I didn't start Trails in the Sky. I played Trails of Cold Steel.
All right, so the ones we pulled again. Now you see how it works, chat, in terms of getting ahead of it. Maybe while Blessings on the pulpit talking about whatever his is, you should start shouting at us. But we got Papers, Please, Virtue's Last Reward, Trails in the Sky, and Danganronpa are the ones I'm putting out there for you. All right, so I'm creating the poll.
When you first said it, I thought you meant Tales of Vesperia.
Oh, really?
and I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was on Vita, but that makes more sense.
Yeah, for me, I was thinking of the Cold Steel. Yeah, that's. I put it in the chat there. That is your straw poll to go vote on. We will give you a few minutes while we do that and we shape up this. I'll tell you what, the putting the PS1 classics and the Vitas in there, or the PSP games, that's a game changer for me. It's a game changer for me.
I'm curious to see what you come up with from that. I assume Peace Walker is probably the big one.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, like that's. I mean, yeah, and it is the same thing of like, and yeah, we'll have to save it, I guess, but I should save it. But shit, fuck, this is a big deal. It's a big deal. You know what I mean?
I mean, my list is still we'll get to me in a second, because my list is still Vita centric, but there are ones that are Vita ports that I don't think you think about specifically when you think of the Vita, but for me were synonymous with my Vita.
Sure. Right now it's a heated race. We have Danganronpa with 38% of the vote, Papers, Please with 33, Trails in the Sky 16, Virtue's Last Reward 11. So you
see, I wonder how Trails of Cold Steel would have fared, because I feel like Trails of Cold Steel was a stronger one. I heard
maybe they put it in when they get there next time. You know, when they get there in a second, they'll get there. Don't worry about it. They'll get there. Looking for a decisive vote here. I want somebody to pull ahead and just be done with it. Danganronpa starting to roll. 42% of the vote.
Yeah, I think Danganronpa has to be in there.
Okay, fine. We're gonna say last call then. Danganronpa is the last call here. It is in the chat. Okay. Oh yeah, it's 42% still there, but it doesn't look like I'm seeing Papers, Please make any moves. So we're closing it up, calling it off, and set deadline. Close poll now. Bam. Danganronpa gets to be on the list. That's chat's first one. Did you ever play Danganronpa?
No, I think I listened to you guys talk about it a lot and beyond, and that was like the extent of my
understandably so. Yeah, 100%.
I got Trigger Happy Havoc on Steam. I want to play it someday, because whatever one came out while I was at IGN and I played for like an hour, I was like, this is cool. I like the whole like trying to figure out like who killed who and stuff. Like,
I have such a tough time with visual novels. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard for me to get immersed in them and stay with them. Obviously, you remember back in the day, Colin loved Danganronpa. Yeah. I tried several times to play it and dug what it was going for, but just never clicked for me. So I never hung out. But I understand the love for it. And obviously, yeah, the other month or ago now, when I started playing Judgment, when I tossed out, hey, I want a game that's a detective game, that was at the tip of people's tongue in terms of where to go.
And I started getting into Paradise Killer early on when that game first came out, and people were saying that is very Danganronpa, that game. And so knowing that it's similar to that has me like, oh yeah, Danganronpa must be a really, really cool game then.
Yeah, surprising nobody then, since you've all blown this wide open and basically busted my bracket immediately. If I'm saying what I need to put on here to keep it alive, to keep it going, I'm putting Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker here. Of course. Okay. What a perfect fucking portable experience. Obviously, you remember last year, not about this time, I guess, but last year in the beginning of Volume 2 of PS I Love You XOXO, we went back and replayed it together. And God, I love that game. And it was great playing it on a TV and playing it on on PS3 or whatever. But nothing will ever be as good as playing that game on PSP and also Vita, to that extent of having it portable, having it in your pocket, having that Metal Gear, those bite-sized chunks to run through and do a story or grind out. Or, I'll never forget in the PSP, playing and pinging random. I'd be on the train to IGN, and it was like a 40-minute ride, right? And I would just ping wireless hotspots as I went, which would then give me the to go fight guys. So I'd be able to get like 10 different recruits by the time I got to work and be able to put them into the thing, and the micromanagement and like everything you loved about Metal Gear Solid 5, right, is actually starts here. This is where the systems that are in Phantom Pain and building out your mother base and having the big shell and all that jazz, like, and not the big shell, but you know what I mean? Building all that out actually net out and begin. It's just so fantastic. I love that game so much. And yeah, if you haven't played that, get it the portable version while you can. Get it downloaded.
See, that makes my next one interesting, because
You're tossing the whole collection in there?
I think I'm gonna toss in the whole collection. Yeah, that was my plan originally.
All right.
And you know what? Like, I mean, why not?
Well, I think we should because the collection, I'm so rusty on this because it was complicated. It's
Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3.
And they say, that is how it worked out. Okay, do it.
Yeah, no, I'm tossing.
It's your thing. I can't stop you. I can't make you.
And I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with there being 2 Metal Gear games on here.
Well, of course, I guess Metal Gear's fucking awesome.
Multiple. But yeah, like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 are iconic games. That was a collection that was for Vita specifically, and like what more can I say? I think that was for me the one of the games that characterize the Vita as being the Switch before the Switch, where I'm playing these games that I always envisioned playing on console, right? And I originally experienced on console, and I viewed as console games, but being able to play them on this portable device in like a scaled down way, but still in a very fun way.
Sure.
I thought was really awesome, and I think it's a great way to play those games. Not the best way. The controls aren't 1-to-1, but I think the collection is just a fun way to play Metal Gear Solid, and so
I agree with that for sure. Okay, hold on. So Metal Gear Solid, I screwed all this up. HD collection.
Wait, so what was your argument against it?
Just coming back to back Metal Gear picks. I'm just, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's I got no, we only got certain number of things. Yeah, I can't argue with you though. Like, these games are awesome. I love these games. I'm not gonna say don't put them on there. I'm just trying to diversify the list, as the kids say.
Nah, man.
You know?
Metal Gear Solid dominance. I'm into it.
Chad, I'm turning my eyes to you to come up with the next straw poll here, so you can all get going on it. So please let me know. This is where you start piling in your answers for what you'd want to see. Chat's second pick I'm putting in. And I'm looking over here now. Okay, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale is on there.
Oh.
Tossing that right in there. Gosh, you guys, I got spell checking not going well for you.
This is where things get interesting for me, because I feel I don't have like those two are my go-to, Severed and Super Meat Boy, especially because I assumed you would have started off with Persona 4. So from here, my list gets more like I can kind of put anything in there, honestly. Like I don't have a strong third entry on my side. Like I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I can kind of play around a bit, which I'm excited about, but I'll get there when I get there.
All right, here are the four I'm tossing in there right now. We have, and I'm tossing you the poll right now in the chat. We have PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. We have Dissidia Final Fantasy 012. Now that's the PSP one, right? Is that right? I can't remember all these. Yeah.
I believe Dissidia was the fighting game. The Final Fantasy.
Oh, really? All right, weird pick for you. Well, no, because there was Dissidia Duocacum that I always made fun of Clements for back on PSP. Virtue's Last Reward and then Muramasa Rebirth. Those are the ones that have been tossed in there. They have been tossed in. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Duodecim. Why do they call it that? It's 012.
Dude, don't even ask. Don't even ask why they're calling these things there.
But yeah, Duodecim is a fighting game.
Okay, well, so is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, don't forget. Right now, it is neck and neck Virtue's Last Reward and Muramasa Rebirth. And then right behind it is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Yeah, Muramasa. I never played. I think that was a PS Plus game.
Did you redeem it?
I redeemed it. Did I boot it up, though? I definitely redeemed it. I don't think I actually played it, though.
I'm looking at the trailer for it right now. Here, I'll toss it over to the one and only Barry Courtney on the ones and twos. Looks like you're making some food. You're slashing, you're jumping, you're killing stuff. Beautiful art style.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is this Vanillaware or is it somebody else?
This was vanilla. I'm like, yeah, this is Vanillaware.
Yeah, it was Vanillaware. Of course, it looks beautiful then. Yeah. Gorgeous game. Yeah, I remember this one. I never jumped in it. You know, I'm not the action game guy. That's why I like having the poll here, so people can get in there. Let's see what's going on. Jumping back to that over here.
Yeah, as I'm tapping through, I don't know why I didn't boot this one up. I think I assumed because at the time I had not heard of Muramasa, so I probably assumed that it was just some shovelware or something that they made free on PS Plus. But I'm looking through it right now, I'm looking through images on Google. I'm like, damn, if I knew, I probably would have played the shit out of this because this looks cool.
Looks like Muramasa Rebirth is going to take it. You have 33% of the vote. I'm prepared to call it on that. Congratulations, chat. You've picked Muramasa's Rebirth or Muramasa Rebirth. Yeah, Muramasa Rebirth. I don't know why I want to pluralize everything. Muramasa's Rebirth. I'm a moron. All right, so now it's time for my third pick. Right now the list is Persona 4 Golden, Severed, Danganronpa, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, Muramasa Rebirth. Oh, shit. Because now it's like I can start to feel it getting tight. You know what I mean? Like I got 3 picks left. You look at this list of games here of things I love that I want to see on the list.
See, the thing that's tough for me is that I know there are a few iconic Vita games that I didn't play. That I feel like should be on the list, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pick them.
Sure, but you gotta look to the chat on that.
And I'm gonna have to trust either you or the chat to pick them. There's like 2 of them specifically.
I'll be interested to hear when we get. I want to know at the end. Write them down right now. Write them down so I know when you get to the end, we can tell if you got there. For my third pick, the 7th on the list, I'm putting Freedom Wars. Of course, my love of Freedom Wars is well known. It is still, years later, it's still my background screen on my Vita that I took and put up and never ever took down. Because I just love that goddamn game so much. The futuristic Monster Hunter, right? Where you are in the Panopticon, you have been arrested, you have to work years off your sentence by going out with your thorn and attacking giant machines and hacking off parts of them and building better equipment and items to go out and fight again. I will never, ever forget. It's some of my most cherished Vita memories, I think, honestly. Persona 4 Golden is that personal moment where Freedom Wars is that multiplayer moment where it was, I forget what we were going to LA to do anymore, but it was me and I think Sam Bishop from Total PlayStation at the time. Now he works at PlayStation, but like playing that on a plane in ad hoc mode across the aisle, which probably isn't good for the plane, but who cares? But like going off and grinding and doing that. I remember when Christine and I were dating, we went to Columbia, Missouri for a vacation, and there was like 3 days in a row where we woke up, went downtown, went to a coffee shop, and just sat there and played Freedom Wars together for hours. It was like such a good game, and I loved grinding in it so much. And it sucks that at the end I would platinum it, but at the end so much RNG comes into play of what's going to drop. Like, run this boss 16 times and he might drop the one thing you need 100 of. And I was just like, I just can't do that. I wanted it so bad, but I couldn't do it in the end. Great game. I love Freedom Wars. I remember when that went free on PlayStation Plus. What a big deal that was. Amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Paul Moore says, Paul Moore says, who the fuck goes to Missouri for vacation? I do, motherfucker. M-I-Z, all right? Miss Columbia every day. I want to go eat some Shakespeare's, eat some CJ's, hang out. I think there's a wedding too I was going to, but I digress.
Yeah, that was one of the games I was thinking of. That should
That's
be
a heartbreaker, man. I'm gonna go to PSN profiles. Let's do the old song and dance where you go look at how many trophies short you are. And you're like, do I want to fucking try to play Platinum Freedom Wars one day?
Did you never get to the platinum?
No, man. It was that like literally it was. And maybe now there's a better guide, but at the time there was just such a shitty guide of how to do it. Yeah, what is this? 68% of the trophies right now. I'm 35 of 43. And yeah, it's reducing my years. This is reduce my years. Take all 4 paths. I don't know what that means anymore. I'm super old. Upgrade a weapon to level 10. Successfully complete every discretionary operation. Defeat a abductor while playing offline without falling once in battle. Successfully complete the 15 special operations. I would need to be dragged through this by a Freedom Wars expert. And I'm not against it. If that's you, hashtag Vita lives. Show me a photo of your Vita and let me know.
This is where things get really tough for me. Because for me, the Vita was synonymous with indie games at the time. And yeah, and like there was an amazing run of indie games during that time span that came to Vita. And this is like I could pick any one of like 7 fucking iconic dope ass indie games to put on this list, and I'm trying to narrow down in my head. And part of me is like, okay, is chat going to get to certain ones that I've
told the chat to start calling out their games. So we'll see. Then maybe we can get it a little bit quicker this summer.
This is tough.
You're not allowed to influence the vote. You're not allowed to say, "Hey, chat."
That's my thing is I don't want to list them because I don't want to start planting ideas in the chat's head.
Sure, rough. I understand. This has to be a fair and balanced election.
Okay, I've narrowed it in my head down to 3. 2 of them I played the hell out of. One of them is probably like the one that's not part of those 2 is probably honestly the right decision, but I don't think I'm gonna make it because it's not my personal decision. Even though I think it has to be on the list, but maybe we'll get there. Between the 2 that I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna pick. Okay, so out of those ones, I'm gonna pick the probably the least iconic one, but it's the one that meant most to me, which is Rogue Legacy. I played so much Rogue Legacy. Yeah.
I just thought I was ahead of the poll and I put it in, and then you're like, Rogue, damn it.
Rogue Legacy was a game I spent so much time on. It's one of my, from that era of indie games, it is definitely one of my favorite ones, right? It was Dead Cells before Dead Cells. I thought I had a fun gimmick. It was my first time playing a roguelite and falling that deeply into it. And yeah, I just loved everything, right? From like all the Castlevania stuff in it to trying over and over again, and it having the gimmick of once you die, it is that person's offspring that goes on to go back into the castle so you can finish it. And so they would have weird things here and there, like there would be different qualities, like your character would be left-handed, or your character would be super short, or their character would jump really high for whatever fun lore reason would lead to that.
Remember, the best one is there was the meta joke of your character's gay. And people are like, nothing changes. And people are like, exactly, that's the point.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they play exactly the same. And it's like, oh, okay, that's fun. And so, yeah, I loved all that stuff. I got super addicted to it. Like, that was the game. Like, for a roguelite, that was the thing that sold me on being into roguelites, because I was like, oh, shit, this is just an arcade game where I get to carry my progress over between runs. You know, like I have that replay thing, try to get as far as I can, but the level remixes, and that meant that I got to play that game over and over again and never get tired of it. And so Rogue Legacy is my choice.
Rogue Legacy is on my short list, so I'm glad you got it on there, because that was the exact everything you just described echoes what I said, what it was for me, where that was for me the start of, this is a roguelike. Okay, I understand what I'm doing. And having it on Vita was such a perfect fit, especially for bus rides and killing time and running one more run. And it did the thing that so many rogue games, like, I don't feel nail, which for me was finishing the world, getting back to the new bases, the new character, and being able to benefit from what I did before. Like, I hate the ones that are full wipes or inside it'll unlock something deeper that you can. I'm like, no, I want to feel more powerful every time I throw myself into battle. And I remember that, getting squashed by the first boss, but then, however many runs later, coming here and cleaning them out and just destroying them, right? I was like, oh, God, this feels so good, that power fantasy.
Yeah.
Chat, you put on your list for your next vote: Gravity Rush, Ratchet and Clank Collection, Uncharted Golden Abyss, and Darkest Dungeon. You have overwhelmingly decided to vote for Gravity Rush with 57% of the vote.
That was one of the ones where I was like, I'm going to trust you guys get there, because I've never been a Gravity Rush person, but I know how much Gravity Rush means to people on the Vita, and so glad you guys made the right decision.
Gravity Rush, another one that's on my list. I don't think it would have made my short 5, but a game that I think definitely deserves a place on the list. And honestly, it's one of those that I reviewed it, and let me see, what did I give it back in the day? Gravity Rush IGN review. Because I remember I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 on Gravity Rush, which I remember being low with the other critical consensus. But for me, it was back to what we were talking about almost at the beginning of the show, right? Of overrated, underrated. It was overhyped versus underhyped or whatever, where I felt they made Gravity Rush seem too grand for what it was going to be, right? And then what was there was a good game, a game I truly enjoyed. Let me read my verdict for you here from, Jesus Christ, when did I write this thing? 2012, May 2012. Oh, my fucking verdict reads like this. Reviewing Gravity Rush is a battle between my heart and my head. I love Cat and totally dig most of the superhero story, but the cumbersome combat and later missions definitely had me cursing at my handheld. Still, if you're looking for a light JRPG or a cool comic game, you should dig Gravity Rush despite its flaws. Just don't expect it to justify you purchasing your Vita. And that's the thing, is I stand by that, where I totally dug Gravity Rush. Really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm a huge superhero fan. I thought Cat was awesome. And I love the way they presented the story and did everything else for it. But it isn't like I think it deserves a place in the top 15, but I just don't think it's like a top 5 thing for me, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Then it's me. Back on me. Shit, fuck. Okay. I got 2 picks left, Bless. This is where it gets tight. This is where it gets tight. Because you got
Because again, there are like games that I'm like, these are iconic Vita games, but there are also other games where I'm like, I played these games a lot on Vita and probably enjoyed them more. That's where the indie thing versus like the Vita exclusive thing.
Yeah.
Because like Uncharted Golden Abyss was one of the ones from the chat, and like that's a Vita game. It's like a Vita exclusive that you can only play there. But I played a lot more of random indie game than I played of Uncharted Golden Abyss on Vita.
Before we totally switch gears, Indy Ronan says in the chat, I felt like Gravity Rush was better on Vita to a degree. Of course, Gravity Rush 2 you can play on your PlayStation 4. Just because I like playing that game on the go rather than on the couch. Totally agree with you. When Gravity Rush 2 dropped and I played that, again, I really enjoyed it. But even there, I was like, oh, this feels a lot like the Vita game. But it's like, oh, it sucks that people skip the Vita game. That this is, just a bigger picture version of that when the Vita game was something.
I had that with Persona 5, where the first time I played Persona 5, I was like, this feels like I should be playing it on Vita.
Yeah. You spend 100 some hours playing it very specific way, right? Like, it's hard to jump the other way.
Like, I started playing it via remote play, and that felt right. And like, I eventually grew out of that because I wasn't going to turn on remote play every time I played that game. But yeah, I definitely get that feeling.
Fuck, there's so many good games on the list right now that are still sitting here trying to get a place on this list. But again, you guys ruined everything when you said I could bring in PSP games. I'm putting Valkyria Chronicles 2 at number 10. A game I adore that I think it was so much better than Valkyria Chronicles 1. Of course, set the stage for Valkyria Chronicles 4, right? Coming to Switch later on. But Valkyria Chronicles 2, I thought, took the amazing gameplay of Valkyria Chronicles, that strategy of, going through how do you want to do it, and making sure as you ran around the battlefield, you had enough, whatever action points to get over there and do something, building out the right squad, then the different missions that were, not customizable, that were optional, that you could go in, get better rewards for. Like, Valkyria Chronicles is, I think, super special in general. Did you ever play any of these? Did you ever get into any of these?
I did not.
So, but you know about them, right?
Tactical I know of Valkyria Chronicles, and it's like, I know it's like a tactical, like, is it? Would you call it a JRPG? I know 100% kind of style to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tactical RPG, and it's definitely Japanese. So I mean, like, I would call it that, but I don't know if, like, technically you'd want to drop it.
Technically, officially, that's how you.
Yeah, exactly. But such a beautiful art style, that watercolor art style. And I just thought it was such a great fit on the PSP for, again, digestible battles you could run through and kill time with. That I want to put on this list and give it the shout out it deserves. Blessing.
This is I'm back again to the place where, as you've been talking, I've been trying to figure out whether I want to go with the pick that I played a lot but might not be as iconic, or the one that I did still play and loved but is way more iconic. And since last time I went Rogue Legacy, which was like a pick for me, I'm going to do the pick that I feel like has to be on there, which is Hotline Miami. I think Hotline Miami is such an iconic Vita game. I loved Hotline Miami, and I know it came out on all other platforms. Like, it is just iconic as an indie game in general.
But for me, that will always be a Vita game. Like, the way I played it, the way I remember just fucking digesting that thing on airplanes.
Exactly. And you think about in Last of Us Part 2, how in that one scene, the girl's playing the Vita and there's Hotline Miami on there. I think there's something that is very iconic for that era, right? Hotline Miami, I think, hit at the right time to come out on Vita for when the Vita came out and was a thing. And honestly like set the tone for what the Vita would be with indies. And so, Hotline Miami is the easy pick for me.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Short list for me. That's definitely where it was at. I'm now taking things here from the chat for their next one. All right. I'm trying not to. People are if your game didn't win its previous poll, I'm not inclined to toss it on here. Just a heads up for where it's going. All right. You know what I mean? Bless you.
I know, dude. I know what you mean, man. Uncharted Lost Legacy had its shot, or not Lost Legacy. Lost Legacy is amazing. Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Golden Abyss is amazing too.
I didn't play much of Golden Abyss. Is it worth? Is it like? Would you say it's a must-play Uncharted game?
I mean, there's 4 Uncharted. Well, I guess if we start getting into the spin-offs or whatever. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I really enjoy it. I don't think about it often, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? When I think of Uncharted, like, I remember enjoying it on the Vita for what it was. I enjoyed some of the mini games they included with the touchscreen, not the fucking me on an airplane having to turn on the light and shine into the camera to do all that kind of crap. But in general, it's like, it's a fun Nate story, but it's like, no, it's one of the, I shouldn't say that anymore. I was going to say it's one of the few I haven't platinumed. I didn't platinum that. I didn't platinum Lost Legacy. Like, it's long. I remember going back and doing it and being like, it's like a lot of chapters. And like, there's a really annoying sniper section that I remember very, very, very well from my crushing playthrough, where I was like, oh God, just get me out of this thing.
Yeah. Like, I played God of War. Was it Ghost of Sparta? Was that the portable one? I played one of the.
Well, there was Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta.
Okay, I think then I don't know which one I played. I think it was Ghost of Sparta though. I started it, and it was a similar thing where I was kind of just like, all right, this seems like a fun game, but I don't know if this is how I want to play this type of game, and I ended up just falling off of it because I was like, I'd rather play something that's more unique to the Vita, something that feels like it's more specifically.
I mean, Golden Abyss is definitely designed to be the Vita with all, but it's more with like, hey, we have the touchscreen and the back touch and shit.
I'd rather play like the console Uncharted, right, over Golden Abyss, and same with God of War.
100%. Yeah. Okay. Even though God of War, shout out to Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus, because those are the ones that got me into actually playing God of War before obviously Corey and all that stuff. But like, I remember like when I started at IGN, it was just a couple months before, weeks actually, before God of War 2 dropped on PS2. And I did not care about God of War 1, so God of War 2 I played for a little bit, and I'm like, this guy sucks. And then it was the Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus trying to give more backstory to him and his brother and his family. And I was like, all right, you know what? I like this gameplay. This is great.
Yeah, I just realized I can literally just check right here which one I have. So
it's a heated race right now. All right, for the chat's fourth pick, it's either going to be Guacamelee, Final Fantasy VI, Tearaway, or Parasite Eve. Right now, Guacamelee has the lead.
Good.
The poll is up in chat. Oh, it's tied now.
Listen,
Guacamelee and Final Fantasy VI
Chat,
are
don't
tied.
fail me. Don't fail.
Okay.
You failed me so many times, chat.
I was gonna
Don't
say
tell me this time.
I'm down for the meme of Parasite Eve, but this is not Parasite Eve's moment to shine, chat.
It is now tied between Tearaway, Final Fantasy VI, and Guacamelee. Tearaway has pulled ahead with 1 vote. Oh my!
This is
God.
riveting because multiple of these games are games that I was thinking of.
Oh sure, yeah, totally. Guacamelee and Tearaway are definitely on my list. Sorry, Parasite Eve. Sorry, Final Fantasy VI. It's all tied up. Now it's back. Nope, Tearaway's back by 1 vote. I've spanned ahead here. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Barrett, who's going to win?
I mean, I want it to be Guacamelee, but it doesn't seem like it's going to go that way. Again, chat.
Yeah, Tearaway's starting to pull. Tearaway's starting to pull.
Yeah.
Yep,
Just a
we're calling it
reminder
for
to play Guacamelee 2 as well. Not enough people.
Guacamelee 2. So good.
So fucking. Not enough people talk about it, man.
You're 100%. I'm part of the problem with that. Where love Drinkbox and love Guacamelee, and when Guacamelee 2 dropped, I was like, oh cool, I'll get to it eventually. And when I finally got to it, it was when it was coming to Switch. They were in one of the showcases, and they put shirtless Arachnid Man and Portillo in it. And I sat down to try that shit out, and I played for hours. Like, holy fuck, I forgot how good Guacamelee was.
Like, I really liked the humor from the first one. I think the humor in the second one is even better. And there's like one moment that like there's this whole section that calls back to the humor specifically from the first game, and it's just one of the funniest moments in a video game.
Sucks they sold PlayStation out, you know. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, you have voted in Tearaway is entering as your 4th pick, the number 12th pick here on the definitive 15 must-play PlayStation Vita games. Bless, what was your Tearaway experience?
I actually didn't play Tearaway.
Wow, really? You're such a Media Molecule fan.
Tearaway was one of the ones. Well, Dream specifically, like even Little Big Planet, I played a little bit of and didn't fall in love with it. But Tearaway was one of the ones I was just talking about. Of like, I didn't play Tearaway, but I know. Like I remember. I think I listened to you guys talk about Tearaway, or maybe I watched reviews
for sure.
Or probably both. And you know, I know it is such an iconic, dope ass Vita game, but it wasn't gonna be on my list because I didn't play it. And so
yeah, for me it would be disingenuous for me to put on. I know how much people love it and stuff, and I played it and beat it, but I didn't love it. And I think again, it was another one where at the time these games are dropping, we're looking at PlayStation, you know, for exclusives that are going to justify what the Vita is. And like, I got it and I enjoyed Tearaway, but I didn't love Tearaway. I didn't think it was great. And I know it has such an audience that I'm not trying to talk shit about it or, you know, say you're wrong for liking it. I'm glad you did. But for me, yeah, it just didn't hit that hard enough for me to sit here and go, you know what? I'm building the ultimate library for when you're cut off from your PlayStation store for the rest of your life. What do you need to have on it? And I wouldn't say Tearaway needs it. But again, a game that's built specifically for the Vita, those are few and far between and do need to be celebrated.
Dude, can you imagine an Astrobot game specifically for Vita? I feel like that
what a world we could
cool
live in.
Thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What a world we'd love to live in. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come down to the final 3. I have 1, Bless has 1, and you, the chat, watching on patreon.com/kindafunnygames has 1. Right now, let's recap the list. Number 1 is Persona 4 Golden. That was me. Number 2, Severed. That was Bless. Number 3, Danganronpa. That was Chat. That was Chat. Number 4, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. That was me. Number 5, Metal Gear Solid HD Collection. That was Bless. Number 6, Muramasa Rebirth. That was Chat. Number 7, Freedom Wars. That was me. Number 8, Rogue Legacy. That was Bless. Number 9, Gravity Rush. That was Chat. Number 10, Valkyria Chronicles 2. That was me. Number 11, Hotline Miami. That was Bless. And number 12, Tearaway. That was Chat.
Dude, whenever I think of Hotline Miami, I think of that. I think of the music, like the specific music that was in like the Last of Us Part 2 scene, where like like that shit is embedded in my brain.
Hold on, how'd that go again?
I
love it.
That shit was fire. Like I know I'm not doing it justice, but you know what I'm getting at. You know exactly what song I'm talking about.
Fuck. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this at all.
It's hard. Also, Ghost of Sparta was the one I had.
Okay. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Did we get Hotline Miami? Yeah, we did. Okay,
Yeah, we
I can
did.
cross that off
Yeah.
my list as things I had here.
Yeah, it gets tough here.
I want to see, and we said we didn't want to get in the chat's head, so I don't want to name the things that I have on my list that I'm not going to vote for here. You know what I mean?
But by not getting into
it's
chat's
the-
head, I feel like chat is
here's
now
the thing.
getting into your head. You know.
It's the last.
No, I'm
last
on my
round.
list. I'm not worried about them.
It's the last round. You know, I think it's fine to get in chat's head for this last one. You know, like they're gonna say what they're gonna say.
Ones that are for sure not on my that made this short list, but I wouldn't put on this list. Right? Would be Volume, Bastion, Killzone Mercenary, Minecraft, and I played so much Minecraft Vita. Loof Trousers.
Oh yeah,
that
Loof
might make it there.
Trousers.
I have Guacamelee on here, but I don't think I would give it the juice. Hold on, I should start
See, that's
bowling
where I'm
this.
at. Guacamelee was gonna be one of my earlier ones, but
Yeah.
as we've gone on,
You all failed me.
it's hit me that Severed is on here, and I'm like, I love Guacamelee. If Severed wasn't on here, 100% I would go for Guacamelee.
Why not both?
But
man?
is it worth having 2 Drinkbox games on here when I could have
Absolutely.
X, Y, and Z game?
Oh fucking hell!
Was Shovel Knight on
Oh, maybe that's my workaround to it. That makes more sense, Greg. Okay. Also, I had Uncharted Golden Abyss on here. I already said Guacamelee, right?
Yeah,
And so then, with my final pick,
I know exactly what he's about to say.
here's what I want you to write it down.
All right, I'm gonna hold on.
That way you can show it to Barrett when you're wrong, because you're not going to pick this one, guaranteed.
It's not one I'm gonna pick, but it's one I think I
know what you mean. I know what you mean by the
Yeah.
question. I just wrote it in like an idiot too. Don't look at the screen.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna write it down. I don't even know if this thing exists that I'm writing down in the form that I'm thinking.
Okay.
God, how do you spell this thing? All right, I'm writing it down right now. Thank you, fucking auto correct for not getting. Okay, I got it. Now, do you want me to show it to Barrett right now?
Yeah, go ahead. I've already locked mine in. I won't change it.
Okay.
Just show it to everybody. Toss it up.
All
Just
right.
put it to your screen
Hold
there. Turn off your porn.
Wait, can you see it?
Unless
I
you're
gotta
using
focus.
ExpressVPN.
Patapon / Loco Roco Collection you put in there.
Yeah, that's
You're
what I thought.
incorrect. For my final pick, I'm picking Patapon 3. All right?
Okay.
Because Patapon 1 and 2,
I was
you
very
can get them
close.
on your PlayStation 4. They're still out there. But if we're talking about a game lost to time when the store goes down, we're talking about Patapon 3. Everybody get out there and save Patapon 3. This is your chance. It was, a more single player adventure. You have your one Patapon hero. You can go through and do it. You know what I mean? Let's get, and of course, my original review from April 2011 on IGN, the verdict reads like this. If it sounds like I'm mad at Patapon 3 for small things, I can assure you that I'm not. It's just easier to point out the few things that are rough around the edges instead of listing the tons of stuff that's amazing. Multi-level dungeons, versus mode races and battles, baby dragons, class skills that level up behind the scenes, humor, color, addiction. I could sit here for hours and tell you how good this game is. Yes, I wish a few things were more polished and more user-friendly, seeing as how this is the third go-round, but Patapon 3 is a game that I will play for that's a typo, 100 hours? No, I guess it's not right, actually. I'm wrong. But I will play for 100 hours. I gave it a 9.0, amazing on PSP. It is amazing. You don't have to worry about it.
Now I had to look it up. I don't think there is a Patapon / Loco Roco collection on Vita, but there is. I think what I was conflating was the Parappa the Rapper Loco Roco Patapon Remaster collection on PS4.
Sure. As that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Lean into get your face back focused.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks.
No problem. You did your thing. Whoa, it went red for a second. Blessing.
Yes.
Your final pick. Chat, start prepping yours so I can start pulling up the chat, the polls.
See, I'm back to indies because indies were such a force on the Vita, and there are a lot of iconic ones. Iconic ones like Super Meat Boy, Guacamelee, Titan Souls, Sound Shapes,
Shovel Knight.
Resogun was on the Vita, but I think I had to go with the most iconic one of all, which is VVV.
Of course.
I've played so much VVV.
All right,
on
says
the Vita.
Barrett.
I played so much of that damn game on Vita. It was the perfect small ass experience. If you're not familiar, it was basically a platformer where the gravity would shift back and forth, up and down. It was a 2D platformer, exploratory platformer. It was actually really cool because you would just go all over the map and try to figure out how to do all the things. I believe you were collecting shit. But very simplistic art style. You would shift back and forth, up and down, and try to complete platforming challenges. And I had a blast with it. I played so much VVV. Not the most popular game, not the most iconic game, but a game that for me on the Vita is a bit synonymous with that experience. And it is a game that I think a lot of people, if you're looking for just a time waster, a game that you can just fuck around and get lost in an afternoon or multiple afternoons, I think VVV is great for that. And so congratulations, VVV.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
VVV. Not you, Blessing. You didn't do nothing.
No, I picked the pick that needed to be picked. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's what you're gonna say. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now to build the final thing here, the final amazing Vita collection here. I'm trying to figure out one thing. Well, I guess I said that didn't matter, right? Yeah. It can be physical only, right?
Physical only?
Yeah.
Wait, did those exist on the Vita?
Yeah, sometimes.
See, I feel like that's weird because it kind of defeats the purpose of the list. But I'm fine with it. We didn't establish that rule.
Well, am I wrong? Because there's been a call, and obviously it's one of mine that I love dearly, and I think it's the best version of Luminous Electronic Symphony. But if I remember correctly, I thought that was, and I can't find it on the store right now, but the store's all fucked up, obviously. Can you chat? Correct me if I'm wrong, because even when I search on the Vita store for it, I can't find Luminous Electronic Symphony, which I do remember that being one of the few Vita games that I had to carry my memory card with, or my cartridge with me forever.
No, I see a demo.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah, when you do it, you just have the demo there, which is making me question it if it should be there or not. Everybody give me a Google search.
That's
on that
really
while
weird.
I build this thing over here.
It would have a demo, but not a digital version. I mean, I'm down either way. Do you think that would defeat the purpose of the list?
I mean, I feel like it is because we're talking about things you could just build on your system and have it be perfect, right?
But also, I mean, the name of this episode is going to be 15 must-play Vita games,
that's
right?
True, that's
and
true.
So I think it counts.
Okay, cool. Then we're not going to bust our balls about it.
Also, I got Poke sitting right next to me.
Oh, eat it.
As you know.
That doesn't keep. That's not something you want sitting around.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is like I've eaten most of it, so it's not bad, but I'm starting to like.
Here we go. We got around it. Cameron O'Neill points out the game was delisted in 2016 due to music rights issues. Thank you. So it counts. It's fine. We're not going to worry about it because we're talking about a perfect world. And again, Luminous Electronic Symphony is the best version of Luminous, and that's coming from somebody who loves all forms of Luminous. All right, then. Here we go. Boom. Creating the final poll for you right now. Chat, based on what you wanted to see in your final poll, you have Luminous Electronic Symphony, Soul Sacrifice, Sly of Cooper, Thieves in Time, and Sound Shapes. What will be the final game you put into the 15 Vita games you have to own? The ultimate Vita library. You were getting cut off from the world. You just had this. What do you want on it? What do you want on it?
Guacamelee.
I'm sorry, Barrett. Severed came out instead. I'm sorry. But now you get to play Nobody Saves the World on your Xbox. It's very exciting.
Or my PC, I think, right?
Yes, that's true. It is a PC game as well.
I'm not going to get an Xbox. Too many consoles in this house, you know.
Hell yeah.
I only have enough space. People give me a lot of shit for not having an Xbox. It's like my entertainment center is only so big.
Hey, you're a man of principles, and I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that quite a bit.
That's why I refuse to turn on the Vita.
Wow.
He went all the way and then clapped back on me. And that happens.
You know what? I felt pretty proud of that. That was good on my end. Good job, me.
While the votes come in, let's hear a word from our sponsor. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by Fitbod. Don't get stuck doing the same workouts. Making progress towards the future you means overcoming new challenges. Fitbod creates a fitness program that continually adapts with new exercises and dynamic intensity that adjusts to you and how you're progressing. So you'll be challenged to meet your goals at your own pace. There's no perfect body that everyone can achieve, but what we can do is continually become a better version of ourselves. No workout is one size fits all. Fitbod creates a fitness program that continually adapts to you, so you stay challenged with new exercises, pacing, and intensity based on where you are and where you want to be. How do we know so much about Fitbod? Because the one and only Gia Tap Harris, that's right, Tim's fiance, has been using it and she loves it. She says it's awesome how it tracks what she's up to, what she's been doing. And again, as we said on top of this, it keeps her motivated by not doing the same thing over and over. Every time she turns it on, there's something new there. There's a new adventure, something new to chase, of course. Fitbod understands that the path to achieving your best looks is different for everyone. Fitbod creates a program based on your unique body, experience, and environment. Their algorithm uses data and analytics to help you build on your last workout to maximize your results. Whether you're exercising 3 days a week or twice a day, every workout is scientifically proven to be better than the last. Fitbod workouts are balanced to avoid overworking muscles with varied exercises to keep you sharp. No equipment, no worries. Fitbod has body weight routines for those looking to get fit at home or on the go. Fitbod is super easy to use and even has HD video tutorials to make learning new exercises a breeze. It integrates with other fitness health apps like Apple Health, Fitbit, and Strava. Personalized training can be tough on a budget, but Fitbod is only $9.99 a month or $59.99 for a year. Sign up now and you'll get 25% off your membership. Pick up the pace on your fitness journey with Fitbod today, and your future self will thank you. Get 25% off your membership at fitbod.me/kfgames. That's 25% off at fitbod.me/kfgames. Our next sponsor is HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. HelloFresh lets you skip the trips to the grocery store and makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh cuts out the stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in about 30 minutes or less. HelloFresh offers 10 to 20-minute meal recipes, low prep recipes, and quick breakfasts and lunches, perfect for your busy schedule. With 25 plus recipes to choose from every week, there is always something for everyone to enjoy. And all recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs with nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. How do we know so much about HelloFresh? Because we've all used it at one time or another. I believe right now Joey is using it. She loves it. She keeps getting on it. I think she just made some ragu the other night that was delicious. I've used it myself, and you know how much I love cooking. What I love about HelloFresh, obviously, is you get the pre-portioned ingredients, the step-by-step instructions. You just get to follow along. So in the beginning of the week, you can plan out what you want to eat. Then at the end of your workday, you get to go in there, pick the one you want for that day. Bam, go. You don't have to think about it. Did I get this? Did I miss this ingredient? Oh man, there's something on the shopping list you forgot all about. You don't have to worry about that. It's all ready to go for you. Go to HelloFresh.com/kindafunny12 and use the code kindafunny12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/kindafunny12 and use the code kindafunny12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And the final sponsor of the day is Gabby. When it comes to car and home insurance, don't we deserve better? You know, we all do. That's why Tim put his policy to the test and turned to Gabby. They literally stand for Get a Better, I didn't know this, Get a Better Insurance. That's what Gabby stands for? Oh, that's interesting. Getting better insurance with Gabby means a better price for the same insurance coverage. Who knew something like this existed? You did, because Gabby's been awesome and sponsored us for a long time. But nevertheless, if you haven't used Gabby, let's talk more about it. They are the one true comparison platform with all real rates. They give you an apples-to-apples comparison of your current insurance coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers like Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers all in one place. You use your current information to get started, and in just a few minutes you'll be able to see quotes for the exact same coverage you currently have, and it's free to use. That's what Tim did. He went in there, he said, let's see if I have the best car insurance. He went beep boop 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 boop, Mr. Robot kind of noises, and then Gabby said, you know what, you do. And Tim wasn't charged anything. He wasn't besieged with robocalls. Gabby is just there to help. Even if you have the best coverage, it turns out they're like, cool, we just wanted to help, and if you don't, they'll help you. Gabby customers save $961 per year on average, and they'll never sell your info, so no annoying robocalls. Put your policy to the test like Tim Gettys did. Get better insurance with Gabby. It's totally free to check out, and there's no obligation. Go to Gabby.com/kindafunny. That's GABI.com/kindafunny. Gabby.com/kindafunny. All right, we're back, everybody. I have good news for some of you, heartbreaking news for others. And I think one of the only landslides we've had today, Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time has won.
Wow.
Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time has, what was the percentage of vote there? The percentage of vote, as I call it, is 47%. Outrageous for this. The polls have been so tight. The polls have been so tight, but there you go. You got it, everybody.
Yeah,
congratulations.
I wouldn't have expected that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that either. I thought for sure, and I would have pushed for Sound Shapes. I would have said Sound Shapes is a game that I totally fucking remember being like defining it, but instead Sly Cooper wins. And Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, great game. Nobody's trying to take that away. Nobody's trying to take that away from you. All right, don't worry about it. Sly 4, great game. So, ladies and gentlemen, John BX32 Sympathizer wanted us to get the 15 must-play Vita games so that he could download these, or they could download it. They could be cut off from the world, and they'd be fine. The list goes like this. Number 1, Persona 4 Golden. Number 2, Severed. Number 3, Danganronpa. Number 4, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Number 5, Metal Gear Solid HD Collection. Number 6, Muramasa Rebirth. Number 7, Freedom Wars. Number 8, Rogue Legacy. Number 9, Gravity Rush. Number 10, Valkyria Chronicles 2. Number 11, Hotline Miami. Number 12, Tearaway. Number 13, Patapon 3. Number 14, VVV. And number 15, Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time.
That is an excellent list. That is a fantastic list.
Everybody download these, buy these, get them all set. Also get Sound Shapes. What I had left on my list for that final pick was Sound Shapes, Lumines, and Helldivers.
Oh yeah, I was gonna remind you because when I was going through the store, I was like, "Oh shit, Helldivers was on Vita."
I remember there being, and I'm super rusty on it now, so please don't hold me to the fire on this. I remember there being cross-save problems. I remember that being an issue of why I didn't put more time into it on one of the platforms because something got fucked up and I lost progress or wouldn't go or whatever. But again, these are ancient issues that I'm sure have been addressed since then. Knock on wood. If you're going to go back and do it. Even though when I was talking about Helldivers being great the other day on Twitter, somebody's like, yeah, it's too bad it doesn't work on PS5. I'm like, motherfucker, I don't know what's going on.
Damn.
What, you know what I mean?
Helldivers doesn't work on PS5?
It was something, this is a random person who tweeted at me in response to me being like, I want more Helldivers. They're like, yeah, it sucks. The PlayStation 4 version doesn't do, it fucks up on PS5. I don't know. I haven't heard that.
There were like a handful of games, right, when the PS5 launched. They're like, hey, like these specific titles don't work, like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Helldivers definitely wasn't listed by PlayStation. Because those are all games that I was
I'm on the Helldivers subreddit. Helldivers on PS5. Has anyone been able to play Helldivers on their PS5? I tried multiple times, but it always crashes when trying to load my save after pressing start on the screen. Guys, like mine crashes on PS4 as well. Then that's everybody bitching they don't have a PS5. Somebody says it worked for them. Maybe it's the same guy who's bitching here is bitching on my Twitter. Yeah, no, somebody else has a crash. It seems like there's something going on with that.
Yeah, there's some weird bug.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there you go. Blessing.
Greg.
What are my PlayStation updates this week?
Yeah, we'll go through them a bit quicker because we spent so much time on the Vita stuff. But yeah, it was a very fun topic. I'm glad we did that. Because it was work that absolutely needed to be done. Let's start off with this first one. Sony's behind Media Molecule in Dreams. There was a fun interview over on Kotaku where they talked to both Abby Hep and Siobhan Reddy over at Media Molecule. And they give a fun breakdown on stuff that's going on in Dreams, specifically with curation in the future of the game. And so I'm going to pull from the article. This is Jack Yarwood at Kotaku. The article is titled Media Molecule Talks Curation and the Future of Dreams. And it's going to be a longer read, so strap in, everybody.
This is breaking today, so I'm excited to find out what's going on.
And also, I pared it down a lot because it was a very long article. And so if you want the full thing, definitely go over to Kotaku and give them the click and the read. When the game launched in early access in 2019, Dreams only featured a single row of creations that players could scroll through, making it difficult to separate the good from the bad. Over time, this evolved into multiple categories, with only a couple of these sections being manually curated, such as MM picks, which are Media Molecule picks, and what we're playing. The studio used categories to highlight creations worth playing in pieces featured on Media Molecule's weekly live streams. But it still wasn't the most intuitive approach to connect players with the best the game had to offer. Kotaku spoke with Media Molecule studio director Siobhan Reddy and Dreams live product lead Abby Hep on the studio's recent efforts to improve curation across the board. Quote, one of the big things we did in the last half of last year was we made Abby the live product lead for Dreams, says Reddy. Quote, that's been a really big step because the live aspect is its own product in a way. We're on a big recruitment drive right now because to make the progress we want, we need programmers and we need designers. What really excites me about all of this is Sony is really behind what we're doing and investing in the studio to grow, end quote. And this is what Abby had to say. Quote, people spend a lot of time making these games and making these really awesome creations, says Hep. Quote, and like being able to rotate them in or out, or say this week we're featuring these topics, and then being able to bring back games that were published a year ago or a month ago is really important. There's a certain one and doneness to the curation that we definitely don't want. End quote. The inspiration for many of these changes came from streaming platforms. Reddy cited Netflix, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime as inspirations. Both Hep and Reddy suggested more changes are coming, but this investment in curation already seems to be paying off. According to Hep, engagement is up, with existing players and creators dedicating more time to playing and engaging with Dreams. The studio has also started extending this effort to potential players outside of the game's community, hiring former Edge editor Jen Simpkins to oversee more editorial content and weekly roundups for the website. The biggest problem with Dreams has always been its poor messaging about what it actually is and what it has to offer to players. Informing people who are unsure about the game on what they can expect could convince some potential players. Although curation was one of the biggest issues that the community members raised, another feature that remains a hot topic is the ability to export and monetize Dreams to reach a wider audience outside of the platform. At the moment, it is only possible to export and monetize video, audio, and imagery from Dreams rather than a full creation. Media Molecule co-founder and art director Kareem Atouni, however, told GamesIndustry.biz that the studio intends to allow creators to publish their games outside of the Sony ecosystem and to other devices and beyond. When asked about this, Reddy said the feature was still a work in progress. Quote, "It's complicated, and we have to do it in the right way, and we have to do it in a way that works with Sony because we're a big organization," she adds. So I think for ages we've been saying to the community, we're working on it, and we're still at that point. End quote. Again, over on Kotaku, there's even more that they wrote. But that is the quote unquote condensed version here. And I've actually been working on a Blessing show that is going to be after this next one that's about Souls games. The 8th episode.
So 2 weeks from Thursday.
2 weeks from Thursday, the episode is going to be all about Dreams and what's been going on. I've been going in there and playing different Dreams, seeing what's up with curation and all that stuff, because I've had a lot of the same questions.
Sure.
And a lot of the things they mention, I think, is visible. Like, you go in there and the way that I think the curation has grown over the year in Dreams has been very good, because you do have the Media Molecule picks, you do have what Media Molecule has been playing, but then you also have things like the Impies, which is their yearly award show, and they have that as a playlist that they break out for people for discovery. They also have the monthly game jams or the community jams that they do, where people are tackling specific themes. And so in October the theme was Halloween, and they'll do another theme that's science, and they find very fun ways to bring in very unique ideas in order to have that cycle in and be something that people can find through curation, which I think is really cool. And I think they found a pretty good flow with playlists and all this stuff that has made the experience better just for the player side, because that is the thing I hear the most when it comes to people talking about Dreams and their interest level in Dreams. The thing I always hear is people say that I'm not interested in the making. I'm not interested in creating. I'm not a game developer. I don't want to make X, Y, and Z thing. And I think for them, the struggle has been being able to communicate that, hey, that is only half of the experience in Dreams. You don't have to create. For me, as somebody who loves playing Dreams, right, I've barely ever touched the creation tools. I fucked around with them a little bit just to see what the music creation looks like, because I like fucking around with music creation tools. Sure. But even that, I got in there and I was like, all right, this doesn't seem for me. Like, this seems kind of confusing. I don't love having to use the motion controls in order to control and all this different stuff. And I've been having a very good time with Dreams nonetheless, just playing and just going through and seeing what's new this week and jumping in. And so I think what they're talking about with curation, I'm excited to see how they continue to develop that. And then also this idea that they are still working on how to export Dreams so you can do stuff with Dreams outside of Dreams, I think is still a really cool idea. And I'm excited to see whatever happens from that.
Yeah, you would hope that would be the way to pull people in, right, from the outside. That you see this over there, and you're like, oh man, you can do this in Dreams. What else is there that isn't monetized? You know, I mean, if it is that somebody breaks out a game from Dreams that is fantastic, that makes the rounds that you hear on all the podcasts, sure, get that, but then actually download this and get into it. I still think, the big thing they need to do for Dreams is get it on PlayStation Plus, is get it on the the live area PS5 when I turn it on, right? Of like, here's what's going on and what's happening. I think even right now, I'm on indreams.me, logged in as myself with, the stuff I've tagged to play later. And then I see it here. Yeah. The Media Molecule picks for games, the Media Molecule picks for audio visuals, Media Molecule picks for Showcase, right? Like Dreams by the people I follow. I still think, as they're talking about in this article, right, hiring more people to bring in to make it more like Amazon, to make it more like Netflix is a huge thing. Because having here's games is fine, but if it was, as Abby, if it's Abby going like, here's Abby's picks, or here's what a horror genre looks like, right, or the person whose name escapes me as I glance through this, that they just hired from our side of the industry to come in and do more of this, right, to have it be like they're going in and breaking it down by genre, breaking it down by new, breaking it like when I turn on my thing of like, this is the hot dream of the day, if they can have it on the home screen somewhere. Like, that's the biggest thing it needs, is a way to pull people in. But all that said, right now, as we always do with this show, it's 1:32 p.m. Pacific time on a Monday, and there's about 1,200 people or 1,200 Dreams players online right now. Like, that's consistently where I see it whenever we check in. I'm talking about over the past year of checking in on it, right? Like, I think when we were initially talking about Dreams, when it first dropped, it was way higher, but we've seen it come out. It seems like it's always leveled out here at this very specific time of the day, showing me that the audience of Dreams is still there and still very much connected to it. It's just about getting more people in and giving them the avenue to show and experience all this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean through doing the Blessing Show about Dreams, I did hit up. I emailed a few creators that are prolific in there, like the folks behind Pig Detective and some other games that I dig that are in Dreams. I talked to them a little bit about how Dreams has grown over the last year, and like honestly, there are a lot of promising things that are happening with the curation. Like all of them had very glowing things to say about the route it's taken over the last year. And again, I'm going to touch on that a lot in the upcoming video in 2 weeks. But I do like the idea too that they mentioned that PlayStation is behind it, and I think that's been one of the big things for me is, it's easy to imagine that Sony abandons an idea or abandons a project because they're not seeing the return on it they may have thought they would within the first year. And for Sony, I don't know what their expectation was for Dreams, because it is this almost like this nebulous, like amorphous thing that exists as such a unique product, and so I'm sure for them, they knew that it wasn't going to be The Last of Us or whatever the big what they expect out of a big first party game. But you would hope that through releasing Dreams, they look at it as a service, which is kind of an unusual thing for them. They look at it as a thing that they're going to see return on over the course of years, and they're going to see grow and maybe be a thing that continues to exist throughout a whole generation of their console. I would hope that that's how they're looking at it, and them saying that they're backing it, I think, is a cool thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Greg, let's talk about the second update for the week. Is PlayStation Productions trying to become the next MCU? The reason I asked this is because we got the announcement that they're working on a Ghost of Tsushima movie. They wrote briefly on the PlayStation blog, "We're happy to partner with Sony Pictures to make this happen, and Jin is in very good hands with the film's director. Chad Stahelski created something special with John Wick. His vision for what could be backed up by years of experience, combined to create some of the finest action scenes ever created." Greg,
what is your headline? What is the PlayStation the next MCU? What are you saying? This is all in the same universe?
No, I'm not. So
you're saying we're gonna see Jin fighting Ellie over on HBO, and then got Tom Holland swinging in, hitting somebody.
But think about how cool that would be, though. Think about how cool that would be. Jin fighting Ellie.
I mean, I don't mind all these movies build to PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Yeah, fuck yeah, all right.
Dude. But I don't ask about it in that sense, but I do ask about it in the sense of
more like Marvel Studios.
Well, but even like in the sense of there is not a shared universe, but when we think of PlayStation first party games, we have an idea, right? Like we think of Ghost, we think of Last of Us, we think of God of War, and there is like this like synergy that I think a lot of the PlayStation first party games work off of, because they all exist together in the space supporting a platform. And for PlayStation Productions, like now that we've gotten announcement after announcement after announcement of Last of Us series, Twisted Metal series, Ghost of Tsushima movie. I think there was like one other thing that I'm blanking on, but it seems like they're doubling down on Twisted Metal. No, I mentioned Twisted Metal.
Oh, sorry.
Or maybe I got
Last of Us, Uncharted, Ghost, Twisted Metal.
Uncharted was the thing I was missing. It seems like they're building like building up to something, not necessarily like a joint movie, but building like this. I don't know, like, but they're building PlayStation Productions to be this thing that is able to create these movies that kind of work together, and you anticipate one after the other, the way we anticipate the next PlayStation first party game.
Maybe. I mean, like, that's definitely was their plan when they announced and started promoting PlayStation Productions. It was the idea of taking their IP and taking the IP and pairing it up with cool people to make cool shit. And I think, Uncharted's tortured development cycle is, I think, notwithstanding, right? You look at something like Last of Us, right, where it is Craig from Chernobyl working on it with Neil. That's fucking awesome. This Ghost of Tsushima thing to come out and talk about pairing it up with the director of John Wick, right? Like, that sounds awesome. Like, especially when you think of what made Ghost so cool was its dedication to being a samurai film. And so if you're going to get that and like take away, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a John Wick person. Sorry for yawning in the middle of the speech. Didn't they talk like they called what he did with the gun gung fu, right? Like you assume they take that and like now you're doing a samurai movie. Like, how are you using the sword? How are you using it in cool different ways? How are you making your their Jin into the actual Ghost of Tsushima? That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see what this is, just from that specific standpoint. I think Chad Stahelski is a pretty interesting and cool director to bring into it, because I do like the idea of the samurai movie that is very, very action focused. Because Ghost of Tsushima as a narrative, as a story, I think is great for a video game story, but also isn't like the most like deep and like provocative and interesting and like layered story of all time, right? Like I don't really, in terms of narrative, I don't compare it to something like A Last of Us or like that top tier, but it is for an open world action game. I think a very serviceable and fun story to follow. I like the idea of, hey, we're giving it to this action director that did John Wick, which is a movie that is about a dude whose dog gets murdered, and he goes on a murdering spree on everybody who's associated with his dog murder.
Spoilers.
I like the idea. Spoilers for John Wick 1. I like the idea of Ghost of Tsushima being this movie that is basically about Jin Sakai. It is the story of Ghost of Tsushima. It is him being him and his people being taken out by the Mongols and the Khan, and him exacting his revenge by using whatever means necessary. I think that simple premise, given to Chad Stahelski, has a lot of potential because it is simple, and that's all you need from it. You don't need to get extracurricular. Introduce the characters that we like. Give me the who's the older lady that everybody loved from Ghost of Tsushima,
Lady Masako.
Yes. Give us her. Give us the characters we love. But again, don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple and let that sword shine. Just let us see all types of fucking blood spew all over the place. I'm all down for it. But yeah, I do. I the more we get announcements, the more I'm like, okay, I can see myself getting into what PlayStation Productions is, because I tweeted this. I can't believe I'm excited about a video game movie, but with each new announcement from them, I'm like, yeah, I could see this. With like the exception of Twisted Metal, which I can't really see, but I'm sure they'll convince me when we get there. Or at least
I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I hope they do. Story number 3 for PlayStation updates. Returnal has gone gold. Our Housemark tweeted this March 25th. They said Returnal has finally gone gold. A huge thanks to everybody on the team at Housemark, PlayStation Studios, and all the other teams involved. We can't wait to have this out soon for every player out there to experience the planet of Atropos. So go get them, Housemark. You excited for that?
I am. It's what, I've talked about it a lot on these shows, right? Where everything I've seen for Returnal makes me go, I don't get it. Like, it doesn't look like, I don't look at the gameplay and go, man, this is going to be fantastic, but it's Housemark, so I know it will be. So as soon as this got announced, I immediately emailed PlayStation PR. I was like, hey, just checking in. Who's working on Returnal? And the guy was like, I am, and we will let you know. Don't worry. So like, I'm anxious to get it and see, because I feel like this is a game that, as when you look at, I think probably everything they've done, whether it be, Resogun or anything else, it's really about playing it and feeling it and be like, oh, I get it. Okay, I get it. Because like watching it and seeing these like cutscenes then mashed up with what looks to be like arcade gameplay, but from a third person perspective, I'm like, I need to feel this. I need to be in there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for that aspect too. I just want to play it because
the pedigree
stuff
man
hasn't spoken to me, but their pedigree would speak to good gameplay and good feeling gameplay, and so
100%.
Looking forward to that. And then the last update we got, Ratchet and Clank is getting 60 FPS. Insomniac tweeted this morning. They basically said that.
Damn it.
Yeah, on the PS5, the game is going to get a 60 FPS boost.
If you're an audio listener, this is Ratchet and Clank 2016, the one we were doing for hashtag PS. We played this.
Yeah, I was talking
announced
about before
in
you jumped
April
on.
when we're fucking done with the book club. There'll be a fucking 60 frame per second update for PS5.
Before you jumped on the call, Greg, I was like, man, y'all picked the wrong month for this, and I'm glad that I did. I was gonna touch it. I was like, you know what? Everybody's playing it. I want to play it, but then I just never picked it up, and now I feel like I made the right move.
Man.
Yeah, I expressed frustration to Barrett before the show, and like for me, this is very much a bitchy thing to say because one, they gave us the game for free for play at home, and then two, they're giving the 60 FPS boost, which they don't need to do, right? And so this is an entirely bitchy complaint from me that I'm wrong.
Oh yeah,
right? But you put the game why would you not line these things up? Like why would you give us the game for free 1 month and then the next month give it the FPS boost?
I wonder how much heads up Insomniac had on this would be my thing. I were they told long out in front that, hey, Ratchet and Clank 2016, we're going to give it away for play at home? Like, were they given enough time to do that? Or maybe it was like, by the time they heard it, they're like, oh, well, let's try to get this patch ready. And they didn't, but they realized they could. And then it's, at least they got it done here where, hey, we're putting this out and you have 2 days to download this game for free. Like, you still go ahead and get it and sit on it until you get the 60 frames per second patch. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll give Bloodborne a 60 FPS patch, please, God, please, or a remaster. I'm down for anything. PlayStation.
You'll take what you can get.
I'll take what I can get.
Have you seen that Digital Foundry video, Bless? I was like, damn.
I should have included that here actually, but now we don't have the time. But it's if you haven't seen this, go to Digital Foundry. They showed off what Bloodborne looks like in 60 FPS, and it's hot. It is hot, and so give it to me, PlayStation.
Give it to me, PlayStation.
You know what else I want from PlayStation? Some picks. That's right. Now it's time for PlayStation picks. This is where we highlight a few of the cool looking games coming to PSN this week. For big hitters, we got Doom 3 VR edition that's coming to PSVR. I guess that came by the time you're listening to this, on Monday, March 29th. There's also Auto Chess that's coming to PlayStation 5 Tuesday.
You excited
March
for that,
30th.
Chess boy?
No, because it's not the chess that I love.
Go play some chess, huh? You're always talking about it.
It's like some
playing
Dota,
Abby all the time. Go get it.
Dota shit. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for that specifically, and so go get them if you're an auto chess person. Again, that's PS5 Tuesday, March 30th. Also Tuesday, I'm excited about this. Disco Elysium, the final cut that's coming to PS5 and PS4 on Tuesday, March 30th. And then
I'm excited for this. Yeah, I don't know when I'll get to it because Outriders is right next, but yeah, I'm excited to try Disco Elysium on this.
That's the rough thing is I realized that a lot of games are coming out at the same time that I have interest in, and so it's this Disco Elysium, Outriders. I definitely at least want to try out because I had fun with that in the demo, and then also Narita Boy, which I'm going to talk about literally in 1 second. I'm looking forward to trying out this week. So let's talk about it. Narita Boy is coming to PS4 Tuesday, March 30th. This is one that was in the ID at Xbox presentation, and it is going to be on Xbox Game Pass, but it is coming to PlayStation also, and I think people should definitely keep their eyes on this one and check it out because Barrett has the trailer pulled up right now as a cool 16-bit or pixel bit, I guess I should say, art style, very colorful, neon color. The game description goes like this: become symphonic in Narita Boy, a radical action adventure as a legendary pixel hero trapped as a mere echo within the digital kingdom. Discover the mysteries behind the techno sword, lock swords with the corrupt and tainted stallions. Save the world. Me and Snowmike Mike during the stream on Friday pulled this one up because he had known about it. He was like, bro, I got to show you this. And he showed me this. I was like, fuck, this looks really cool. Just from both an art perspective, but when they started getting into gameplay, it looks like a fun 2D slasher. And I'm all about it. I can't wait to try that one.
That looks rad.
What was the game that we all like? Andy and I really liked. And it was
Hyper Life
Switch,
Drifter.
Switch. Where it messed with like
Katana Zero.
Yeah, it's kind of
it.
It's kind of got
Katana
that
Zero.
Katana Zero type of vibe.
Yeah,
really digging it.
Yeah. We also got I Saw Black Clouds. This is coming out on PS4 Tuesday, March 30th. And Greg, I think you might have interest in this one. After the unexpected death of a close friend, Christina returns to her hometown looking for answers, only to unearth a string of dark secrets. I Saw Black Clouds is an interactive psychological thriller with supernatural elements and branching storylines. And Greg, it's from Wales Interactive, the same devs behind both The Complex and 5 Dates. Wales Interactive has had such a presence on PS I Love You XOXO.
They sure have. They should, and it's like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I can't get fooled the third time. All right, fool can't be third. Where it's like, I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. It's just that both remember the complex and 5 dates. I was like, oh fuck, let's go. And both of them, I was like, all right, well, I gotta do something else.
Complex, I played through. I'm pretty sure I beat the complex, and by the time I finished it, I was like, why did I try this? Like,
Why did I try this? Why did I do this?
I have such a soft spot, and I don't know why, for narrative FMV games that are just like story choice, story decision. Like, I'm just willing to try it out. This is the complex, right?
Yeah. And it's
So
that thing
I
where, like,
pulled it up because this actress right here is the sister in Letterkenny, which is a show I really love on Hulu, and y'all should watch. I was just like very surprised to see her pop up. It's really funny.
She's fine, and like, I don't know. Like, the one about this one I saw Black Clouds is maybe a horror game would work better with it. But like, I don't. But I mean, will it? I don't. Yeah, I started Erica.
And Erica was bad.
Yeah, but that was a game. This is like, that wasn't Wales Interactive, right? This is like,
no, that wasn't.
This one, they are literally like, make a choice. Do you want to go left or right? What do you want to say? Like, they're not like, what, fucking pick up the key and turn the key, like, and do this whole thing. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing, Erica? Just tell me the story. I don't know. I'm with you where it's like, oh, FMV, awesome. And then I'm like, wait, what FMV game am I so nostalgic for? Yeah. When has this ever worked out in my fucking favor?
Yeah, like, I've never fallen. I think for me, it's like the thing of wanting that return to something like maybe Detroit Become Human, or like,
sure, yeah.
Until Dawn, and wanting that feel of, oh yeah, the butterfly effect, because Complex did have a little bit of that. Like, they had the thing where you're
totally
managing your relationship with each of the characters, and I guess that would affect things. But I was never sure, because I never went back and replayed it to figure out what the other things were.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
no,
good for
funny.
you. If it's out there, if people love it, great. You know what I mean? I'll look at it, but like, I don't know.
I saw Black Clouds. That's also not an amazing name for a video game. That literally sounds like I don't know, like a weird statement.
This is more than a game.
Who's drugged up on the street. I saw Black Clouds. Get away from me. And then lastly, we got Undermine coming to PS4 Tuesday, March 30th. An action-adventure roguelike with a bit of RPG tossed in. Adventure deep into the Undermine and discover powerful relics, deadly enemies, hidden secrets, and a few friends to help along the way. There's like a roguelite wave that's been going on over the last, I don't know, I guess generation, but it feels like it's been getting more and more. But I'm all about it, because I think a good roguelite is good. And so if you're into a fun roguelite game,
if you're into like this, got Binding of Isaac kind of vibes almost to it.
It does, yeah. This does look
not necessarily like how like creepy and messed up Binding of Isaac gets, but just like the kind of
just
like
in like
overall,
the dungeon crawling aspect, and like you're throwing your pickaxe and shit. Has a nice pixel art style to it. The art style reminds me a little bit of the Graveyard Keeper. Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, Graveyard Keeper. The pixel art reminds me.
The dungeons remind me of Moonlighter.
Oh yeah, that's a good pull too. And so, this already came out on PC. I think people liked it when it came to PC, as far as I can tell. And so, if you're into that, boom, Undermine PS4 Tuesday. Go get them.
Go get them, everybody. Bless, it's time to talk about what you've been playing.
It is.
I'll start, because I'm shocked to be saying these words. I'm fucking hyped / obsessed with Outriders.
Oh yeah.
We did Outriders. Remember you and Andy played it, right, for the preview event back, and I think Andy went to LA as the final preview event he ever did, right? And then I remember short time frame now of like last month, maybe the month before, we were on a Gamescast, we're about to be, and Andy was talking about Outriders, like, oh, well, I like that game. And he's like, oh, dude, you'll totally fucking love it. It's third person, division, sci-fi. Oh my gosh, that sounds great. And then when the demo dropped, Andy was like, I'm not that hot on it. And a lot of people were like, it's this, it's that. And I played it on stream with Snowbike, Mike, and Andy, and you for a little bit, right? Yeah. But the problem was it was my first time starting, so it was like skip all the cutscenes and all the dialogue. And so then I was just running around using weird powers. I was like, I don't understand what's happening exactly. And we're jumping into Andy's game and being pulled through and yada. Spoilers, I filmed a video with IGN for Outriders where I went and played with Brian Altano and Alfredo Diaz. And they gave us high-level characters to play. Like, I think they're like level 15, level 20 or whatever. And we did it for like a couple hours or whatever. And I was like, holy shit, this is fun. Which made me then go back, because it was like, and they were like, oh, do whatever you want with the skill tree. So I went into the skill tree and saw that it branches 3 different ways, right? And all these different pluses and buffs and minuses and stuff. And so then it was like, okay, reset it to build what I wanted to be. I'm like, all right, cool. So then, when I was done with that, set aside the time where, I had the demo, went in there, started from scratch, rolled a trickster that looked like Wonder Woman, but the trickster powers are slowing down time, and so she runs around like Flash. And I was like, this is fucking dope. And like the story is bombastic sci-fi, as I put on Twitter, right? Like it is everything you've heard. The performances aren't that great, and it's very surface. It's like, yup, it's an action movie. It's an action movie that I'm playing, and going through all of that, and then having on top of that the action movie set pieces and whatever. And I'm a sucker for time travel. If you haven't played the demo, no spoilers. This is stuff that starts in the very beginning, right? You've been asleep for 80 years as you've left Earth on these colony ships to try to find a new planet. You get down there, all hell breaks loose. You're then frozen another 30 years, and you come out so like there's this really cool fish out of water. What the hell's going on? Piecing that all together. But then it is the Destiny overlay. It's a looter shooter. I'm blowing things up. I'm getting cool jackets. I'm getting cool boots. There's buffs. There's rarity levels. What I really dug was playing the high level stuff. I was, getting my ass kicked, and there was a dev on the stream too talking. It was an old friend of mine actually, and we were talking about it. And he's like, "Oh well, remember like." You're pyromancer, so the way you get health back is by inflicting pyro damage on people. And it was like, oh, and so like learning each class and how they get their health back. Now doing trickster, right? You have to be up close to do damage to get your health back. So suddenly I came in basically playing my original demo with Andy and Mike and you, totally being, oh, well, it's like Division. So get into cover, stick to the wall because it's kind of got that stickiness of Gears of War, pop up, shoot kind of thing, which was the wrong way to play it for it, right? It is so ability based. It is that you are a superhero that then secondary, if anything, is guns, right? Be mixing those powers in. And so playing Trickster now is, running up to people, jumping in the air, smashing the ground. Everybody goes in slow motion, headshot. See a dude across the way, use my R1 because I establish it to warp behind him, to shotgun him in the back. To then it's like, fuck, this is fun, and it's making me play a different way. So like I went from, oh yeah, like you and I were talking about what do we want to do for book club next month, and I was like, oh well, there's nothing really happening. Like, yeah, I might try Outriders. Like, oh yeah, I don't think I'll stick around. Now that I've done it, I'm like, holy shit, I cannot wait to play this game on this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. The trickster class is really fun. Like that was the one I did for the demo, and I was immediately when I started using the abilities, I was like, this is really cool. And I think the high level thing is a good thing to note because I think that might be what did it for me and Andy, especially coming out of our. I think it was like August when we did the preview in August.
Yeah.
We played as the Technomancer, I believe, which is the one with like the turrets that you can throw.
You put down the turrets. Yeah, I looked at that one, but like the description on it was like, attack from a distance, and I'm like, oh, I ain't sniping. That ain't how I want to do it. I want to be mid-range or up close.
And I believe for that one, we were also pretty high leveled. And I think, honestly, that is where the game sings way more because you do get into the flow, and you do have that thing where you're combining abilities, or there's so much happening on screen. You have so many options when it comes to speccing out and customizing those skill trees and upgrading. And I think at that way higher level, the game sings way better than when you're low level at the beginning and going through the motions, and the emotions are immediately uninteresting because the story doesn't pull you in as much.
I think that's what's going to be interesting is when people get their hands and that level cap is taken off and you really start experimenting with that skill tree, let alone you can reset at no cost, which I love, where it's not like, games like that usually make you go to a station, spend tokens or whatever, spend gold or whatever you have in the game. The fact that you can just be like, oh no, I don't want to do this, or I got a piece of armor that has this awesome ash attack on it, so I need to build up, like to be able to go back in and build and experiment and change. Like I think it's really exciting and really interesting. So I can't wait for this week to get actual hands-on with the game and push way past it. Mm-hmm. And outside of that, I did It Takes Two. We talked about that already, obviously, on the Gamescast. Our review's up there. You can catch it. You probably have more to say about it than I do even. Jen and I have been playing it.
Have you played more of it since the Gamescast?
We have been. Yeah, we have been playing more of it. I still fucking think it's amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I think it's just it's so delightful in the fact that it changes, biome to biome. You're doing something different. Every level is something different, and they're all equally as fun. Like I'm not annoyed playing any of them, right? And it's fun to talk to your partner and try to figure it out. But the one I do want to give a shout out to that I've been playing is Cozy Grove. Barrett, I sent you a trailer. Have you heard of this one yet, Bless?
I heard Joey mention it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Code request went out, and I sent it to Joey. Like you and me would be all about this because it is very Animal Crossing like, but it's kind of Animal Crossing Spiritfarer, where you are a spirit scout. You get dropped on this island full of ghosts, and you need to talk to them and then do little things for them to help them pass on to the other side. Like you're helping them complete things and say goodbye to the island and move on. So it is like you see right now if you're watching, there you go. You do this guy's task to bring him on board. He gets color. The world fills out with color, and then you can craft as you go through it. And you can craft lights that you put down that then extend the color to different areas. There's fishing though. There's obviously harvesting, like I just talked about. There's crafting. Like it is very Animal Crossing at times, and but it's Animal Crossing with a different spin to it. It is Animal Crossing and going through and doing these things, but it's doing them for these ghosts for an objective to get them out of their world. And what's really interesting about it is the game makes no bones about it. It is meant to be played in 20, 30 minutes chunks a day. That's it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like when you saw the fire, you went and gave the fire thing and it went blue, right? Like as you complete the objectives for the ghost, they usually give you the spirit log that you go feed to the fire, and then it gets bigger, and eventually, you know, when you hit the X number it needs, it'll get really big and, you know, a level up kind of thing. But when you give it a log on, like when I turn it on today and I give it a log, it'll be like, awesome, thank you for this. I can sense that there's 2 more logs available. And then when you get those 2 logs by doing the different quests for those people, he'll eventually go, all right, cool. That's all the logs you can get today. And so you could, if you wanted to, hang out and grind. Like there's, you know, leave piles to uncover that'll give you, you know, materials like wood or branches or fruit. Sometimes there's trees to shake and get fruit. You can do all that where you then go and sell that and accrue coins and, you know, expand the shop and stuff like that. But it really isn't designed to keep you on that grind. It is something to pop in, do your thing, and pop out and come back another day. And so it's really cute. It's fun so far. It's super chill, which I like, especially for a game that is meant to be played in a short burst, where it can be that thing of either start my night of gaming or end my night of gaming, get in there, do whatever they need to do, and then bounce out. And there's no like, you know, at least so far, I shouldn't say there. I've been playing for like, I think today would be my 4th or 5th day. There's no that I've run into like, Nook's Crannies closed at 9 p.m. So you kind of fuck this up, but you don't have to worry about that. Like you can run around and do all that stuff, but it's cute. You know, you're earning badges for your sash because you're a Spirit Scout and all this stuff as you go. There's different outfits and stuff like that. I'm enjoying it.
How long do you think you're going to continue playing it? Like, do you think you're going to go daily with it for a while?
It's one of those, like, I don't see why not. Like it's, you know, I don't have the, I like right now, like, oh, who's your favorite ghost on the island? I don't know, the one who thinks he's a tree. Like there's all these different bear ghosts, and they all have these different vibes to them of like what they're doing there and why they're there. And so it's like I don't have a connection to any of them yet, and I think that might be one of the things of, you know, it's slower to build that relationship since I'm only playing it, you know, 20 minutes a day. So it's not like I'm popping back in and be like, oh yeah, I grinded your quest all last night, so I know all about you and what you're doing. It is a lot of popping back in and be like, all right, you're the bear that's mixed with a seagull. What's going on? Like, I got to get you. What are you looking for? All right, I give you things that you put into the encyclopedia, similar to the museum in Animal Crossing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, Bless?
Not much. Like I started playing a little bit of Fallout 76 last week because like people on friends on Twitter have been talking about getting back into it, and you hit me up. Like
first off, yeah, I was gonna say you and I had this idea completely organically, and then what do I see? I see Paris, I see Danny, I see Ree, everybody out there, they're doing Fallout 76 on Game Pass, and I'm like, me and Bless were talking about this before you guys did.
Yeah, so I jumped into it during one of my afternoon streams on Kind of Funny, and immediately I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get reminded a bit about how rough this is.
Dude, same thing for me, where you and I were like, maybe we should commit to this and really play. I was like, yeah, and I turned it on PS5 and I was like, it'll clearly run better, and I was like, ooh, it does not run better.
Yeah,
all
like
right.
the first thing that happened was I spawned into my camp, and then I go to the stable of Brahmin, which are like the cows in the game, and one of them just starts fucking just drifting off just out of their like their cage, and just starts drifting across the street, and I looked at it, I was like, yeah, no, this ain't it. And I walked over to it, and like it's like started to slowly snap back, and I was like, yeah, this is it right here. But after that, you know, I started getting into a bit more of the quests. Like I'm still early on in the game, and so I'm still doing things like learning how to boil water and like learning how to cook things.
So you re-roll a new character?
No, I started from where we left off. Dude. We just didn't get that far, apparently.
I couldn't, like, I when we started that playthrough, I remember I tried to jump in with my old playthrough that it was like 15 or 20 hours in, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. So like it was very much like, I'm like, if we do this, I have to start again. And then it was that thing of like, now here's I want to be in the fucking vault again. Like
here's the thing. We could start again on Xbox. I know it's a PlayStation podcast, but like here we could play with Reed, Danny, and Paris, who seem like they have it figured out and having a great time. I feel like that's the thing because we keep playing and we keep playing together and we're both starting from scratch and we're like none of us have that taste of what is making the game fun nowadays. And apparently Paris and Danny and them have it figured out because they seem to be having a blast. And maybe if we play with them, that's where that starts.
I mean, come on. I'm looking right now. I got 19 to 61 trophies on Fallout 76, so I got plenty of room to go there.
19 out of 61. Like, how many of those were tutorial trophies?
Hey, man. I don't know. No, I got like complete 20 challenges. Like I played Fallout 76 at launch when it was really, really shitty. A lot. I got 10 bobbleheads. Like I reached level 10. Oh, and there's a bunch of DLC shit in here too. That's why there's so many more in there.
Gotcha.
But like, yeah.
But
anyways, but I don't think it matters anymore. Personally, I don't think it matters because Outriders is great. Whereas
are you pretty much like I'm done with Fallout 76? I'm gonna do Outriders now.
I'm just saying this to the back burner for sure. Okay. So you can go play on Xbox. You can go be that fake ass gamer.
After like an hour and a half,
good deal.
After an hour and a half, I was starting to have a good time again with it. Where I was.
I'm sure I will. Oh no, I'm not saying I won't have a good time.
I was taking out feral ghouls. I went to a town and there were a bunch of scorched ones, which is new to me. I wasn't familiar with the.
You don't remember scorched ones? Oh yeah.
Were they in Fallout 4? Or were they like?
They were definitely in 76 before, right? Yeah, because that's their whole shtick. I thought of like one of the classes.
Probably because they were new to me. Like I don't think I had seen a scorched one unless maybe I just forgot about it. But either way, I came across them and I was like, oh snap, these guys are like ghouls. But then they pulled out a gun and I was like, oh shit.
Oh, you ain't no ghoul.
I was like, you ain't a ghoul. You're smart enough to use a weapon. And so like I started having a bit of fun with that. And then also a rando tried to party with me, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll party. And that was a mistake because they like two different randos who I crewed up with just started staring at me and they were like doing like random things, like pointing their guns places. And I was like, you want me to do something, but I have no idea what the fuck you want me to do. And so I was just like doing different things. I was trying to emote and then like they started shooting at the ground. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Just say what you want me to do. But like there was no way to figure it out because I was new to the game and they were level 100 or something. And
awesome.
So
I can confirm. I looked it up for you, Bless. The Scorched Plague appears only in Fallout 76.
I thought
okay.
So.
Yeah. But the Scorched ones look really cool. Like, it was pretty cool character design. But yeah, that was my time with Fallout 76. Like I'm not motivated to continue it aside from like me having a little bit of fun with it, and then also like the prospect of the main thing that might have me going is the prospect of playing with other people, because also my friend Yami, who I play games with all the time, she was like, dude, I got it on PlayStation. I'm down to play it on PlayStation. I know she would also get it on. Actually, no, she doesn't have an Xbox, so you wouldn't be able to play.
There you go. You got to play it on PlayStation. See?
Fuck. And yeah, so like that's the thing there.
Play
too,
some Outriders, then go play that. You'll be fine.
But also like we could also just play Outriders instead. That's the thing.
Come
is like
on,
we play.
Let's go.
Like we're not Fallout 76 like people. We just have a list of games.
Dude, that's the thing about like running through and crafting the armor and doing the shit. Like it's like this weird Outriders thing of like the combat's, whatever, I don't know, gears mashed up with this, mashed up with that, but even the powers are a bit Mass Effect, but the look is a bit Mass Effect. Because like when you get a fucking dope outfit in Outriders, I'm like, fuck, I look good right now, and it's giving me that vibe I want out of it. Let alone the whole thing feeling like Fallout because it's like, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. And so yeah, Outriders might end up being the move. And honestly, like I'm playing New Vegas anyway, and so I'm getting that Fallout fix either way.
Fallout stuff already. Yeah,
I'm getting that Fallout fix. But aside from that, I'm forever playing Apex. I'm still in love with it. I'm not going to talk your ear off because I've been doing that a lot. But Apex, I'm still playing and loving, and it's taking up a percentage of my gaming time nowadays, which I'm fine with. And then we talked about It Takes Two on Gamescast, but it's an excellent game that I was blown away by.
Yeah. It's one of those. I was hoping because it was the review, more people would care about it, but more people didn't. Everybody should care about It Takes Two. Go watch the Gamescast to find out why that game's great, because that game's awesome.
Yeah.
Blessing,
Greg,
we got a post to do on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames.
We do.
Are you prepared for it?
I am.
Okay. Baird, are you prepared for it?
I mean,
is the post? I mean, what is
PS I love you? PS I love photo mode. What's up?
Are we kicking that to next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna reference it, but y'all just did. So yeah, we're kicking.
I'm
photo mode next week.
All right. Cool.
Don't push me. Push pop. Remember that?
Yeah, he's close to the edge.
I'm about to break. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this has been PS I Love You XOXO. We're going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames right now to do a post show for you. Everybody on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Everybody watching live, like JT Savage, Indy Ronan, Joshy G, Arc Wing. Thank you for hanging with us for these 2 hours. Remember, if you are watching somewhere else other than patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, ladies and gentlemen, you should go there. You could be part of the show. You could be in a live chat voting on different polls when we do them like that. You could write in with your PSN name. You could write in with your questions. You could have a good time. You could get the show ad-free. You could get it with the exclusive post show we do. You could support Kind of Funny. But if you have no bucks tossed our way, we totally understand going to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, subscribing, liking the videos, watching there, or going to a podcast service of your choice. Subscribing, liking, leaving reviews there means the world to us, and that's fine if that's all you can do to support us. It don't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We love talking to you about video games. I'm very excited for Outriders, and I'm also excited that Outriders, I can just blast out a friend code or whatever, and people can join on me. So follow me on Twitter this week, because I'm sure I'll be doing that at night. Most times
really?
I'll be
easy?
offline. Right, for the cross-platform play, where you can just go boom, so you put it out or whatever. So I assume that'll work for PlayStation to PlayStation as well, so I don't have to add people, go find them, do whatever.
That's baller. I didn't even think about that. That's cool.
So it'll be a fun way to play stuff and run stuff with it, so do that. For now, though, like I said, post show, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Until next time, blessing.
Greg.
It's been our pleasure to serve you.